And welcome back. You're watching a presentation of the Big Ten on ABC. In front of more than 110,000 on this warm, breezy evening. An early October test for the Wolverines and the Spartans. It's been a spectacular tailgating day. Temperature still an unseasonably warm 77 degrees, but you see that bottom line. Forecast rain, including the potential for thunderstorms about 10 o'clock. So about 2.5 hours from now, could hit at around the fourth quarter. A rare energy, Kirk, in this place. Again, only the fourth night game ever. This is not known as being the loudest house in the sport, but it feels different at night, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. I had an opportunity to call one of their night games when they played Notre Dame, and it was a special night.
The first one, I think, right?
Yeah, first one. Honored Desmond Howard that night, and just a special time when you get it to a historical landmark like the Big House to see a little bit of a different feel. And in this kind of setting, it's pretty special.
It's a young Spartan team playing their first game away from home. By Mark D'Antonia's reckoning, only about a dozen guys on the travel squad tonight that were here for that miracle win a couple of years ago. That's how young this football team is. So this is a major test for some guys who are playing away from home for the first time, including your guy, Joe Bacci.
Yeah, Bacci's going to have a big night. This is really an opportunity for both of these teams early in the year to establish themselves in the Big Ten East and kind of send a message to some of the other teams, not only in the Big Ten, but maybe around the country.
Michigan gets football first. The Spartans won the toss and deferred, so they'll kick off. And look who's expected out there. Jalen Watts-Jackson, who's had a shoulder off-season injury, playing some special teams. He is the man that made that play, scooping up the fumble punt, ran down on this left corner of the end zone. There he is out there.
Think about the last time he was on this field. Wow. What's going through his mind right now?
Really, just about any field, right? He's been injured, fractured his hip on that play. Ambry Thomas, the young Wolverines, back to receive the kickoff. And James Fogue is pumped up. He's got the wind at his back. Doesn't normally reach the end zone, but it is a touchback. And here comes John O'Korn. Kirk, and you alluded to his history beginning at Houston, where he was a 3,000-yard passer as a true freshman, lost his job to Greg Ward in his sophomore season, and then looked for greener pastures.
Yeah, incredible to think to go 1 year rookie of the year in the entire conference, and next year you're benched. Decided to transfer, looked at Florida, ended up, once Jim Harbaugh was hired, came to Ann Arbor, sat last year behind Wilton Speight, had one start against Indiana. But that's just a different feel. I thought the way he played in the Purdue game, we'll see if he can continue tonight, but I thought he was in command of the offense, clearly prepared himself to be ready to play that night.
They think it's a Higdon, a first down throw, and it's incomplete, just out of the reach of Khalid Hill, the fullback. He's the Chick-fil-A Impact players.
O'Korn has a lot of playmakers around him. Very familiar with these guys because of the work in practice. Grant Perry on the outside, 88, leads these receivers. Zach Gentry is 6'7" as a tight end. They'll try to get the ball to him. We mentioned Joe Bacci. And look out for Josiah Scott. He's a true freshman, number 22. Going to have to hold up in man-to-man coverage.
The second down run. This is Higdon bursting up the middle for about 7 yards. We'll see Higdon, Ty Isaac, and Chris Evans rotate a tailback.
It's going to be a war in the trenches. I mean, Michigan likes to establish the run with Jim Harbaugh, and Michigan State prides themselves on stopping the run. Their defensive line will slant and angle, try to occupy those linemen to allow those linebackers to come downhill and make a lot of plays.
Third down has been a struggle somewhat for the Wolverines. Converting just 35%. They need 4.
Their tight ends always come into play in these third down situations.
Higdon motions out, and now O'Korn to the shotgun. Spartans rush 4. O'Korn has time and delivers into a tight window, and it's complete to Grant Perry, who's out near midfield. Accurate throw.
A really good throw, nice timing. Perry is a good third down option as well. I like how they have Crawford in front of him, and he just gives a little hesitation, a little outside move. There's Scott, who we just kind of highlighted. How will the true freshman play in this setting? That time, Perry gets the best of him. Remember, Michigan State plays a lot of quarters coverage, which ends up becoming man-to-man. So those corners are asked to hold up a lot in one-on-one situations.
They get 19 on 3rd and 4. Chris Evans checks in a tailback. He's got the pitch. Cuts it back. And runs to about the 45 for a nice first down gain. Justin Lane, the corner, stopped him.
It's a good look at Michigan offensive line. Take Wilton Spate out of this offense, and this is a very young Michigan team coming into this year. Mason Cole, got to watch, 52. He started his first 2 years at left tackle. Last year he was a starter at center, and now he's moved back out to the left tackle spot, really the anchor and the leader of that group.
He's one of the captains for the Wolverines, number 52. 2nd and 5, Evans again. In the clear. Couple of nice runs from Chris Evans, and the Wolverines are marching another first down.
Boy, you know, they play 3 tailbacks, but Chris Evans has such vision. And Andrew Dow, number 5, will come from his right. Watch his jump cut. Right? He just kind of feels him. Perry's making a block, but that jump cut right there gives him that extra yards. Instead of giving up on the play, picks up another 5 yards.
Now we'll see Ty Isaac. We've seen Higdon, Evans, and now Isaac with his first carry. A strong runner, plowing for a couple of yards off the right side.
There's going to be a lot of hitting in those trenches. It's going to be fun to watch up here to see how Michigan State, the strength of their defense is really more about their linebackers and maybe in the back end. The defensive line doesn't necessarily have the dynamic playmakers that they've had in years past. So they're going to ask that defensive line, as I said, just to occupy some space to free up the guys in the back end and clean it up.
We talked to the Spartans defenders. Don't try to pretend this is another game. They know there's a different intensity, different physicality when they play Michigan. Play action. Corn rolling around. That's what you talked about. He can extend plays and scramble for yards. Knocked out of bounds by Demetrius Cooper right at the sideline. No flag.
Nice job of O'Corn just trying to hold on to that, try to make something happen. Michigan State took away his primary receiver, and Cooper, who's known more as a pass rusher, gets to him before he can pick up that first down. I thought he might try to take a shot and throw that football, but he did a nice job of coming off of it because, as I said, Michigan State coverage very good at taking away the tight end.
They're in field goal range, where Quinn Nordine has got a very strong leg, but they need 3 on this 3rd down. Evans is the tailback. He's got it. And he slashes close but short of the marker by a yard. Mike Panuziak and Penny Williks on the left side of that defensive line. 4th down, and Harbaugh keeping the offense out there.
He goes quick. Gonna go fast.
Evans, first down. So an early gamble. Harbaugh says, forget about 3. We're thinking about keeping this drive going.
That's a situation you work all week on, and you get into that plus territory, and it's 3rd down, and you come up a little bit short. If you notice, the offensive line, the backs, everybody immediately knew to get set, get lined up. The linebackers from Michigan State went over the top, and Evans does a good job of navigating his way through to the right there to find just enough room for the first down.
They've gone for it on 4th down 5 times this year, made all 5. 10th play of the drive. Higdon motions out. And O'Corn flips it over the middle. Short completion. They'll use a variety of tight ends. That's Ian Bunting with his first catch of the season.
But when you blitz your linebackers the way Michigan State does, these safeties have got to come down and be able to pick up those quick throws behind that blitz. Right there's a nice play by Willis, who anticipated that the ball might come out, but still, Michigan on a first down pass able to pick up positive yards of 6 yards.
Anybody in the world have more tight ends on the roster than Harbaugh does.
Man, they have some good looking ones too. Only being here a couple of years.
You mentioned Gentry, number 83. And off to Higdon. He runs through an arm tackle briefly and gets within a yard of the first down marker. 3rd down.
You know, that's the beauty of being able to rotate. Evans, who's taken a majority of the snaps here in this first drive. Isaac we saw once, and now here comes Higdon. Michigan doesn't have the premier back, that Tyrone Wheatley, that Leroy Horde that they've had in the past. They eventually will with the way Jim Harbaugh and his staff are going to recruit. But right now, it's being able to mix guys in and keep them fresh for 4 quarters.
They have a Tyrone Wheatley. He's a tight end. He's the son of.
Yeah.
All right, so with a 3rd and 1 play coming up, Wolverines opening march has them set up at the 17.
First and goal from the 7. In the corner, Alexander.
buddy Desmond Howard would like to tell Keith Jackson he was tripped on that play. The blatant no call on the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, I don't know.
Led to the drop.
He may have dropped it, but after he was interfered with.
See Spartans fans sitting with Wolverines as the Michigan team comes out off the timeout with a 3rd and 1. It's the fullback, Khalid Hill, the guy who was the touchdown machine a year ago from short range, who moves the 6 again.
I love the big fellas. 6'2", 265 pounds. And if it's short yardage or they get inside that 2-yard line, you know number 80 has a very good chance of getting his hands on the ball. You know, he was a tight end who they ended up moving. And back in 2015, they moved him back to fullback and really could have probably come out last year. Gone to the NFL.
He was the touchdown maker last year. He hadn't really had a chance down in close. He talked about the struggles in the red zone. Wolverines are right back in there now. Evans tests the middle for a short gain.
We talked about how they had struggled in the red zone until O'Korn went in against Purdue, and 3 attempts in that red zone and 3 touchdowns. And now there's a reason for that. He gives you a little bit more mobility. It opens up the playbook. I think with Wilton Spate, it was run the football, and they were struggling with their blocking in this area. Teams were collapsing down on that run game, and they weren't able to execute in the past. And I think with O'Korn, it gives you a little bit more chance to move around and take advantage of his athletic ability.
They broke it open late against Purdue. We had a touchdown pass to Gentry. They had 2 red zone touchdown runs. Empty backfield. O'Korn lobs it to the end zone. Battle for the ball. That was Sean McHugh, the tight end, and well covered. They'll use the tight ends in all sorts of routes.
Oh yeah, and they'll put 3 or 4 of them up there. It's pretty good coverage. See, McHugh's actually reaching just at the end, but Michigan State with very, very good coverage by Justin Lane there.
Put a corner on a tight end.
This is where Michigan State has done a very, very good job in improving their 3rd down defense from last year to this year. They're number 12 coming in. They give you a lot of different looks to try to confuse the offensive line and the quarterback.
15th play of this opening drive. They need 7. O'Korn looking left, lobbed to the end zone, and no chance to make a play. That was Eddie McDoom, and covered well by Josiah Scott, the freshman. Here comes a field goal.
Yeah, Josiah Scott with the speedster. Eddie McDoom, one-on-one. Remember, he's going to live on an island. Great technique, has the left arm, gets his head turned around there. Nice job by the freshman to be out there on an island.
Yeah, for the tuba player over there.
Tight quarters, right?
Quinn Nordine has been very busy. 11 of 13. He's made his last 7 since missing a couple late in the opening win over Florida. He can make it from 65. This is just from 30. He's going to kick for a long time on Sundays. Extreme power in that leg. Wolverines shoe clock and draw first blood in the big house.
Saturday Night Football on ABC is presented by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, building better every day. In part by Nissan, innovation that excites. And 5-Hour Energy Shots. What's your 5-hour?
It's a wonderful event last night. About 30 students from Michigan and Michigan State teaming up with Special Olympics Michigan athletes. Flag football, the 3rd annual Special Olympics Unified Sports Rivalry Series. Wolverines won at 26-20, Kirk. Maybe a little more scoring than we might see tonight.
It could be.
Decidedly non-flag football. What a drive for the Wolverines. 16 plays. That's Harbaugh style. Almost 7 minutes to take the lead. Although it was a stall in the red zone yet again.
That's right.
Scanlon, the lefty senior, to boot it away, and he drives it. Andre Welch will take a knee. And here comes Brian Lewerke, the sophomore from Phoenix. Maria.
Well, you're right, Chris, and Brian Lewerke, he's a display of that youth that Michigan State is certainly relying on this season. Brian said coming into the year, he had to speak to Kirk Cousins because their careers were very similar at Michigan State. Both had to become captains and leaders and starters in their sophomore season after only having played a handful of games as freshmen. He said that basically Kirk Cousins told him that he has to start developing relationships on and off the field in order to be a great leader. But here tonight, he wants to display good pocket presence and also also show that he's very, very determined with the football.
It's tough, Maria. You saw that he also leads the team in rushing. He's averaging 6.5 yards per carry. Gerald Holmes is the back. And Spartans' first play of the night. Working from the pocket. Lofts it downfield and over the head of his top target on the young season so far, Felton Davis III.
Love the call by Dave Warner, the offensive coordinator. Felton Davis coming off a huge game last week against Iowa. By far his best game of the year. 9 receptions, couple scores. And he's 6'4", 195 pounds. As much as Michigan will play man, there's an advantage there with his height. First play out, they let Lewerke throw downfield. Something else about Brian Lewerke is he's going to have to run the football. It's the first dual threat type of quarterback that Mark D'Antonio has had since he's been the head coach.
Wolverines crowd the line, and this has just not worked for anybody all year long. You simply have not been able to run between the tackles against Michigan.
No, Don Brown's system doesn't allow you to run between the tackles. They attack the gaps. They leave their corners, again, much like Michigan State. They're going to leave him out there. There's Don Brown, one of the top defensive coordinators in the game. And when you sit down and talk to him, you learn pretty quickly about his style, because the way he talks to us is how he talks to his players. And players love to play for Don Brown because the corners are left on islands and the other 9 guys take care of the run game.
Here comes the noise on 3rd and 10. Spartans have actually been a very efficient 3rd and long team so far, but this is not a typical game against a typical defense. Lewerke has good protection, throws it up, incomplete. It was off the hands of Darryl Stewart. 4th down, a 3 and out. Josh Metellus, the safety, in close coverage.
I'll tell you, it's pretty impressive in his first series by Lewerke. Look at this pressure from Michigan. Great job by Michigan State's offensive line picking it up, but be careful throwing it late over the middle. Ball is tipped by the corner, and almost you throw it a little bit higher and gives the safety enough time to come over and pick that off.
I loved your clinic the other day with Don Brown. You were playing the receiver. He was playing the DB, and he was schooling us all on how they're taught to break up passes, get their eyes around. It's a great example right there.
Exactly right.
So Jake Hartbarger is an excellent punter, and the electric freshman, Donovan Peoples-Jones, number 9, back deep for the Wolverines. It's a very low kick. Peoples-Jones will back off, and it takes a nice Spartan roll down inside the 30-yard line. So the Wolverines go 16 plays and take the lead. Spartans go 3 and out. Taco Bell, proud partner of the College Football Playoff. Be on the lookout for Taco Bell student sections. Passionate fans all season long. Both athletic directors pleading for civility and mutual respect in this big spotlight in the rivalry game. So far, we haven't seen any jawing or trash talking yet, which is nice to see. There's still plenty of time.
How will Michigan State's defense react after that 16-play drive where they're out there for a long time? Their own offense goes 3 and out, and they're right back out there to try to defend this offense.
Wolverines ran the ball 10 times in the opening drive, and here comes the reverse. Breaking free is Peoples-Jones. Very shifty true freshman. They actually do a good job to keep it to just a 6-yard gain. Willis on the tackle.
Thought he might get to the outside, but the defensive end, the former walk-on Willikris, doesn't let him get out there, forces him back in, which gave Willis a chance to chase it down. But just a few little wrinkles, and that's what Jim Harbaugh will do to you. Pep Hamilton helping him out call plays, Tim Trebno. They do a good job of mixing up their formations, give you so much to have to digest as a defense.
So many personnel groups.
Yes.
There's a 2nd down handoff, and Evans will move the 6 yet again. Maria?
Chris, when you watch John O'Korn on the sideline or in the huddle, you notice that he has the same demeanor at all times, despite the fact that he's making his first start. Running back Ty Isaac said it's a calming and steadying factor that he has. Confidence whether he throws an interception or has a nice touchdown drive, and that's the kind of voice and demeanor that they need in the huddle right now.
He prepared as though he were the starter. Even with Spates back up, you hear coaches say that all the time, but with O'Korn, you believe it.
Well, there's evidence in the way he played against Purdue.
That's when he had to come in relief. This, of course, just his 2nd start as a Wolverine as Ty Isaac takes it, loses the football. Ball is out. Spartans are pointing their direction. And they have it. So Isaac is stripped, and exactly the kind of break that the Spartans offense needed.
Joe Bocci, who we talked a lot about here early in this broadcast, the playmaker, comes up with his hands on that football and rips it out of Ty Isaac's arms. Watch Bocce right there. He gets his right hand on it, rips at the football, it's out, and then it looks like Chris Fry jumps on top of it. So the two linebackers active here on this play. It's a good play for Michigan. Isaac just doesn't take care of the ball, and Michigan State comes up with a big turnover, something that's kind of been a bit of a bugaboo for the Spartans early in the year, especially in the Notre Dame game.
Michigan State's 5th takeaway of the year. That's it. They've been emphasizing the need to come up with plays like that, and Michigan's backs continue to have fumble problems early this season.
I love the play action call in the first series. They only had 3 plays. They went back to a run. It's going to be tough to run in the middle of that Michigan defense. You're going to have to try to get the ball out on the perimeter, but early down play action will be a part of how Michigan State has to move the ball tonight.
Gerald Holmes lined up very deep. Stewart comes in motion. Holmes cuts it back. This is an incredible stat. They do look through the first 4 games. Opponents have run it between the tackles 58 times. They have netted a total of 5 yards.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible.
Which, with that being said, that was a great gain of 3.
Yeah, exactly. More than double between the tackle output all season long by Michigan opponents.
You've got to get on the perimeter. And again, you want to show that you're going to try, but you're going to have more success on jet sweeps, quarterback runs, anything to the outside, and then taking some shots downfield.
You saw Ryan Monet and Maurice Hurst, the anchors of that defensive line. Holmes again hesitates and bursts through the middle, and the Spartans do come up with a productive middle run and push the pile inside the 30. Brian Allen, that senior center, made a nice block.
Yeah, watch Brian Allen pull. He's going to come around and pick up the defensive end. Winovich, watch this right here. Boom, picks that block up, stays on it. He sustained his block because it looked like Winovich would eventually get off of it, but he doesn't. And there's some good, tough running from Gerald Holmes. Spartans saying, heck with that. We're going to run up the middle. We don't care about those numbers.
Tristan Jackson, the receiver, an aggressive block, as well as the fullback Colin Lucas. 15-yard gain. Wolverines bring some pressure. Lewerke back on first down, running out of time, but shows the wheels and scoots inside the 20. Mike McCray chased him out, but he is a true dual threat.
Yeah, and Mike McCray has got to be able to account for him right here. Lewerke, we talked about, is a dual guy. He can do this. When you play man-to-man, defensive backs are out there. They're occupied with the receivers. McCray late in getting over, and Lewerke, who's a dangerous threat tonight for this Michigan defense, and running the ball, picks up 9.
Ryan told me I don't look fast because I'm a long strider, but I might not clock that fast. When guys are chasing me, he says, I'm football fast. Showed it there. Hit in the backfield as Mo Hurst just blew up the play against Holmes.
Boy, Hurst
down.
does this a lot. He's had to take over. This defense only returned 1 starter, and that's Mike McCray. Hurst got a chance to play, but more spot duty at times a year ago. Now they're asking him to be an anchor up front, and he is making a lot of plays for them this year.
For a guy who's, quote, undersized in the middle of 280, he has used his quickness, consistently pressures the quarterback.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense number 10. Half the distance from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
That's the top tackler, sophomore Devin Bush, who was assessed with a penalty.
I happen to be watching that. It could have gone either way. Brian Allen took his right hand out, and at the end of the play started to take a little bit of a swing towards Bush. He and Bush are going at it. Bush retaliated, and how often do we see that with officials? Sometimes they see the retaliation, but Brian Allen and Bush, in my opinion, both guilty there of getting a little bit too aggressive after the whistle.
Talked about Allen. He's a great student, but as a center, he's got a nasty streak as well. Holmes fake it to him, and it's a shovel pass to Matt Sokol, the tight end. Hit very hard. His helmet gets knocked off.
Go back to that. Watch Brian Allen coming right out here. He and Bush are kind of tied up. You see his club, the club right there, and then Bush kind of responds to that. And that's what they ended up catching. Michigan State catches a break because it takes away that brilliant play by Maurice Hurst. That was a tackle for a loss.
I think Michigan State has started now. Sokol getting the helmet knocked off. He's got to come out on the 2-yard gain.
Another red zone opportunity. See if these teams are going to score or settle for field goals. Michigan State moved.
Ball start. defense number 65. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
That's the area in which the students sit, and it's very loud down there. Spartans have been much more efficient in the red zone than Michigan has this year. 16 trips, 9 touchdowns, only a couple of field goals.
A little bit deceptive because in their last 2 games against Iowa and Notre Dame, they got down there 5 times. Everybody talks about the fumble by L.J. Scott. 5 times down, only 1 touchdown against the Irish. And against Iowa, 3 times down, only 1 touchdown. So they've struggled themselves in recent weeks.
Yeah, it gets better competition, you're right.
Yeah.
And 2nd and 13 after the penalty. Lewerke running out of time. Again, escapes and heads toward the end zone. Diving! Touchdown, Spartans! It is a different look when you see Michigan State with a quarterback who can run like that.
Absolutely. Devin Bush moved out of the box area, Chris. He is now out here, and it just leaves one linebacker, and that's Mike McCray. We just talked about how Lewerke brings this, and you got to be ready to account for him. McCray gets caught up in coverage and man-to-man, and Lewerke is able to outrun the rest of the defense. The progressive pylon cam, a great view to see him extend across and get into the end zone.
Tyree Kinnell, number 23 of Michigan, he was down. He got hit in the head by a teammate's leg just at the end of the play. But Lewerke diving across for his 3rd rushing touchdown. He's a guy that he ran 61 yards for a touchdown. He took a sneak more than 50 yards against the Irish.
Yeah. And that's the part of the game. It's every defensive coordinator's worst nightmare is a quarterback that can create, improvise. And like you said, we're just not used to seeing that from Michigan State. They've had so many quarterbacks that are more pocket-style guys.
Lewerke is the holder for Matt Coughlin, who knocks it through. So the Spartans rip the ball away, take over in plus territory, and drive it 46 yards in 6 plays in less than 3 minutes to claim the lead here. Look at this rivalry meeting number 110. Again, the first in prime time. Mark D'Antonio. He's 7-3 against Michigan. Wendy's bringing you this rivalry matchup, and over the years, 6 times Michigan State has come in here and won in the Big House against a top 10 Wolverines team. So plenty of history of pulling upsets when the Wolverines have more height. And that has been a key, obviously, whichever team can run the ball. 142 or 47. No, he didn't get a chance to run the ball in preseason camp. The quarterbacks wore the protected jersey, so all the teammates were a little surprised once the real game started and Lewerke started to run like that.
Yeah, well, you really don't know for a first-time starter. Well, he played some games last year, but I think he's doing some things this year that some people are surprised by that athletic ability. Yeah, now it's officially, as you said, Michigan State, Michigan.
Ambry Thomas is the deep man. Scanlon boots it. And Thomas is going to bring it out. Excellent coverage as the Spartans fly down there and tackle him at the 14-yard line. Kick off week 5 of NFL with the Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 o'clock Eastern time. Sam Ponder and the gang. Then Monday Night Football over on ESPN. Mitch Trubisky makes his first start in Chicago on Monday night as the Bears host the Vikings, which you like to call the NFC Norris.
The Norris.
Someone once said.
Our guy.
So the Wolverines suddenly find themselves down by 4 after the fumble in the last series. Pinned back at the 14. Karan Higdon is the back. He tests the middle. You're part of a rotation. You fumble the ball like Isaac did. You might not see it for a while. In a game like this, you want to go with guys that are not putting it on the ground.
After that turnover, this Michigan State defense, it just feels like from up here they're getting their footing a little bit, starting to lock in on how Michigan's trying to attack. It wouldn't surprise me at all at some point here Michigan maybe take a shot downfield to try to stretch the Michigan State defense. It's starting to creep up a little bit on that running game and on those short intermediate throws. Every once in a while it's okay to remind them you're not afraid to take a shot downfield.
John O'Korn 2 of 5 for 25 in the early going. From the pocket, delivers a downfield throw. That's Gentry who had it not free. Excellent coverage by David Dowell as the 6'7" tight end went up for it.
Yeah, he needed every inch to be able to go up there. It looked like he was about to make a miraculous catch. It's again 6'7" tight end goes up, makes the play, and then how about David Dowell, the brother of Andrew, separates him. They said he had a great spring, great camp, made his first start last week against Iowa, and a young guy, just a sophomore, starting to really come into his own as a safety.
One of the many guys from the state of Ohio who play key roles on this Spartans defense. 3rd and 7. Well protected is O'Korn, flips it over the middle, but that's short of the first down. Eddie McDoom made the catch, but Wolverines will have to punt. Willis stopped him right there.
That's the biggest area that Michigan State has changed. In the past, they were a man-to-man, blitz you 3rd down defense. Now they're rushing more with 4, giving you a different look, playing more zone, letting the ball be completed in front of them, and then rallying to the ball and being good open field tacklers.
Brad Robbins is the freshman punter for the Wolverines. Another true freshman, Maurice Nelson, the returner for Michigan State. And Robbins into the wind, knocks it short, gets a favorable bounce as Nelson gets away from it, and the Wolverines down at the 33-yard line. Minute 17 in the first quarter after the 46-yard punt. So back comes Lewerke, who found the end zone in the last possession. 1 of 3 passing for 2 yards.
I think it's worth reminding people that Michigan State last year really struggled. Obviously, they were 3-9, but the 3 previous years, they had a combined record of 38-15 or 38-5. I would argue the 3 best years maybe in Michigan State football history. And Mark D'Antonio was right along there and kind of in control. Jim Harbaugh gets hired to Ann Arbor, and everybody wondered what would happen to Michigan State. They followed up with a 3-9. This feels like a different Michigan State team.
Wolverines came out late and barely got set before the ball was snapped. It's Gerald Holmes off the left side.
Almost feel like they're trying to reestablish, because they play chippy. I mean, they recruit 2- and 3-star guys, occasionally a 4-star guy. They pride themselves on redshirting guys, developing guys, put them in the weight room, play with an attitude. They got away from that last year. This is the first time that a lot of people nationally have had a chance to see them this year. They're off to a pretty good start here on the road, up 7-3.
Yeah, as you said, already equaling last year's win total. Any bowl game was figured progress with this young team. And the ball over the head as Lewerke just got flattened on the blitz there by Mike McCray.
Well, he missed that one. That's one he would love to have back. Don Brown dialing up the pressure. Kennel gets in there, Mike McCray, and he misses the tight end, Sokol, who was wide open right behind the blitz. They bring the blitz here and here, and the tight end just turns. He was able to pick that up. That's a nice completion and probably a first down.
McCray, no doubt, affecting the throw. And the crowd trying to make an impact here on 3rd and 7. Wolverines rush 5. Lewerke gets it out quick, incomplete. Broken up by one of those skilled DBs, but a flag comes in on Metellus.
Metellus' right arm looked like he hooked Stewart when he came around to defend the ball. It wasn't the left hand, in my opinion. It was the right arm.
Defense number 14. Ball be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
He's playing that rover position, but as you said, those DBs are all alone out there.
You got to play man as a rover. Watch his right arm kind of lock up the receiver. The left hand is clean. It looks good, but his right arm got in there. Here's a great look. Here it is. Look at that right arm locking down his arm, locked around his waist. Great call by the officials.
Wolverines play a very physical brand of DB. Brown says they haven't been flagged for a lot of pass interference so far this season, but they do tempt the officials because they're very handsy. Ball moved to the 43, and they hand it off to Darrell Stewart on the end around, and he runs into Michigan territory, bangs down after gaining first down yardage.
See, that's what you kind of expected to see from them tonight, is getting the ball out on the edge. Put a little asterisk next to that pass interference depending on what happens on this drive. That was a 3rd and long with a pass interference call on Michigan State, or on Michigan.
Last play of the first quarter coming up. Will they snap it? No. So the Spartans with the fumble recovery and the short touchdown drive leave it 7-3 after the first quarter. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. Ready for quarter number 2 on Saturday Night Football, presented by Wells Fargo, and this presentation of the Big Ten on ABC. So the fumble forced by Joe Bacci, recovered by Chris Fry, turning around momentum in that first quarter. Spartans cash it in with a Lewerke touchdown run and now begin near midfield with a 1st and 10. Lewerke has a lot of time. Takes a downfield shot, jump ball, battle. Cody White, the true freshman, was very well defended there by Lavert Hill to Cassidy Hubbard.
All right, Chris Herbie got a bizarre Mac attack. AT&T field pass, which was not given out in this instance. In OT, Western Michigan's Donnie Ernsberger catches a TD pass. His sister then runs on the field to give a congratulatory hug. She gets booted. Oh, by the way, the game was still going on, and it would go on and on as the Broncos would beat Buffalo 71-68 in 7 overtimes. Chris Herbie, back to you.
Wow. I thought you said 7 overtimes. Is that? That's
Yeah.
That's a record. It has to be.
It has to be. To get bear on that. Figure it out.
How about the sister? Holmes hit, hammered, nothing doing on the right side there. Chase Winovich, and senior defensive end with the long blonde hair on the stop.
Yeah, it is. Love that look. Love to see him getting more of a prominent role and making a lot of plays. Offensive line, a lot of times are kind of sliding to number 3, Gary. It's opened up 15 to make a lot of plays. Remember, Lewerke's legs could be a factor here, not to mention he's got Felton Davis at the top of the screen, his big receiver.
3rd and 10. Wolverines rush 5. Lewerke delivers incomplete, and now a flag comes down. They hit the quarterback.
That's a hold. It's like Cold Chewins, 61, the left tackle, really got a hold of a Michigan defender.
We talked to D'Antonio about the challenges.
Holding. Offense number 61. The penalties decline. 4th down.
Facing this defense, first of all, very fast, very athletic, complex schemes, first road game. All that's a lot to deal with as an offensive line.
Yeah, here's Chewins at the top. Look at Gary. You leave Gary one-on-one. They both actually get in there, Winovich and Gary. You may not want to leave Gary alone. He's one of the more impressive athletes on the field at 6'5", 281 pounds.
Yeah, he's a sophomore, the all-world recruit a couple of years ago. Just has 1 sack, but that's because it's rare that you see that right there.
He doesn't get one-on-one chances.
Hartsbarger trying to pin the Wolverines deep. Drops the point, kicks it very high. Peoples-Jones gets away from it and takes a backwards bounce, and will be down to about the 15-yard line. It's become a field position game. Early 2nd quarter, Michigan State up 7-3.
With 1 second to go, they're going to get one more play. Here's Smoker looking for it. High. Oh! Touchdown! Michigan State does it! The Spartans upset the Wolverines!
T.J. Duckett with the catch there. And Michigan fans always feel like it was home cooking with the clock there in East Lansing. Wolverines take over. He's the 15. Chris Evans is the tailback. O'Korn delivers complete, far side, knocked down after a short gain is McCune, the sophomore tight end. It's a receiving corps that lost Amara Darbo, Jehu Chesson, Jake Butt. Between them, Kirk, 138 catches and 1,900 yards. So a bunch of young guys are using tight ends. They've got freshman receivers. We've seen Peoples-Jones, but they also lost Tariq Black with a broken foot, the Super Frosh in the Air Force game.
Yeah, it is a group right now that I think is starting to emerge after 4 or 5 weeks of the season, but they're awfully young.
Corn on the delay, harassed, rolls, and delivers complete across the middle. And that's one of the veterans in there, Grant Perry.
And that's what John O'Korn can do with his mobility. It's a great job. Look at Michigan State get in there. Look how quickly they're in there. And instead of just taking off and running, that's the area that he feels that he's improved the most. The poise and the vision downfield to eventually find Grant Perry and make that accurate throw. We saw that in the Purdue game when he came in for Spate. And there's another example of it there.
12-yard gain to the guy who's been the clutch target. Typically Perry is the one they've looked for on third down. And they fake it to Evans. O'Korn flips over the middle. And a hard hit and a short gain there on Maurice Ways. He makes his second catch of the season. Dowell, that linebacker right there.
Well, Dowell's making a lot of plays. He looked like he was in man-to-man, and I think O'Korn got excited thinking that he had a chance with Ways to maybe pull away from the younger freshman Scott, but Dowell was not in man-to-man. He came off his guy and made a big play there.
You've seen Dowell make plays. Bocce forced that fumble. Fry recovered it. Three excellent linebackers, all from the state of Ohio in the Spartan defense. 2nd and 7. Korn lobs it, and no flag. The Wolverines wanted one as Donovan Peoples-Jones was blanketed by Justin Lane.
And Justin Lane got in there a little bit too early. Peoples-Jones went by him, and in trying to catch up with him, he gets his arm involved in trying to grab under the jersey. Probably a good no call, but there was just a little bit of contact.
Quite
they
enough.
They let that go.
Let's see what the option is now on 3rd and 7 as the Wolverines try to keep this drive going. Spartans bring late pressure. O'Korn has to scramble and delivers incomplete. He was hit after the throw. McCune was the intended receiver, but Fry, that inked-up backer, came on the blitz.
Again, we keep talking about how well Michigan State is doing this. The pressure from here and here. He looks like he's coming. He ends up dropping. So again, confusing this Michigan offensive line. They slid everybody to the left, thinking the pressure was from the left, from the field. And at the snap, everybody dropped from the left, and they ended up blitzing from the right. Fooled the offensive line and John O'Korn.
All 5 plays in that series passes. And here is Brad Robbins, this time with the wind at his back to punt. Gets it up high and gets it in the jet stream. And ball bounces just in front of Laurice Nelson there. So Brian Lewerke back to work as State takes over up 4.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Wells Fargo, is brought to you by Pacific Life. Experience the power of Pacific. The all-new Type R, the most powerful Civic ever from Honda. And the Ego Power Plus blower. Ego, power beyond belief.
Antonio said this is a legacy game. Look at some of the great Spartans who've made plays against the Wolverines down through the years. Charles Bubba Smith. Often referred to by his first name.
No. Been some great ones to come through East Lansing and obviously Ann Arbor. Fun to look back at some of those photos. Remember some of those players and the big plays they made for their schools.
Percy Snow, huh? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
He would have
what a linebacker. Oh, man.
Madre London, the junior from Little Rock, Arkansas, now tailback for the first time tonight as the wind kicks up. Lewerke from the pocket is chased and has to deliver short, and that's a diving attempt. They give a catch to Felton Davis, who came back nicely for that one right near the marker.
Lewerke, as he's rolling out, he ends up looking back to his left, and then at the last second just kind of flips it out to Felton Davis.
Take another look at this.
But watch Lewerke. He's kind of looking. He's like, whoa, here comes a guy. He just flips it out there, and nice job by Felton Davis getting his arms underneath to be able to make that catch.
You're right. Terrific job. Wobbly throw, and he did control it before he hit the ground. 2nd and 1. They feed London, who picks his way for a short gain. Move to 6. Cassidy Hubbard, what's going on with the Crimson Tide and the Aggies?
Yeah, a little less crazy than what happened in the MAC. Dr. Pepper Championship Drive update. Number 1, Alabama coming off back-to-back 50-plus point wins and off to another strong start against Texas A&M. Jalen Hurts in from 1 yard out, tied up 17-3 on ESPN and the ESPN app. Chris Herbie, back to you.
Yeah, that was 7-3 in the second quarter, and Alabama, they just kind of keep wearing on you and eventually pull away.
Yes, they do. Out in the second half for some more wearing. The end around it. Stewart. Wolverines sniff it out, string it out, and drop him for a loss. Brandon Watson made the play, Kirk, as we continue to track this storm coming this way.
Right here.
It's,
what are they
it's
saying?
not good when it's dark orange and red and yellow, is it?
No, not at all. And what are they saying? Around 10 o'clock tonight?
At 10 o'clock, so an hour and 20 minutes from now. You want to have the lead, perhaps, when that weather arrives. It would be nice.
They said if lightning strikes within, is it 10 miles?
Yes.
They'll stop the game for 30 minutes.
Lewerke looks to the left and has a man. He completes it to Hunter Rison, the freshman. Yes, tremendous bloodline, son of Andre Rison, the former All-American here.
And a rare soft coverage from Don Brown's defense, and Hunter Rison draws Mike McCray, a linebacker, on him one-on-one. He'll take that matchup.
He's quick, not blazing fast, but his dad, a 5-time Pro Bowler, looking in tonight. Sets up a 3rd and 3. Lewerke looking to throw for it, and he's got it. And he moved the sticks again as Sokol makes the catch.
Well, watch Lewerke's head look to his right, and he thinks he's going to go to Darryl Stewart, then comes right back, and it ends up finding Matt Sokol. Good look at his eyes here. Looks right. He thinks he has Stewart. That's tremendous poise for a young guy on the road, and gets the defense where he wants him, and then comes back. Doesn't panic. Doesn't start to run out of there. Just sits in there, trusts his line, and makes a good throw.
Rush in there and 1st down, and a downfield throw. Leaping catch made by Stewart. He went up and won the battle against Watson.
And it was a battle because Watson's their most physical corner, and he's at 5'11", 200 pounds. Watch this battle as these two go head to head. A little hesitation, pushes him out of bounds, and then it's about high pointing the ball, and he makes a heck of a catch.
After a 30-yard gain, Spartans use some tempo. This is London hammering on the left side, so not something we see a whole lot from Michigan State, but tactical here.
You don't know if that was just hurry up because let's get the tempo going, or were they concerned about the call? Maybe did he go out of bounds on his own, or did he get forced out of bounds? It looked like he got forced out of bounds, but it was rare to see them hit a big play and then immediately come up to the line of scrimmage. But they're in attack mode right now.
They sure are.
Michigan State has come into the big house, and they're not just, hey, let's hang around. They're in here trying to take swings at Michigan.
And they're landing.
They are.
Keeper, Lewerke, able to dive for the 1st down at the 16-yard line. Noah Furbush forced him out.
Another wrinkle you're not used to seeing from Michigan State. This is zone read. Winovich collapses down on London, and he pulls it out. The hesitation there was just on the read. He's trying to make sure that Winovich was going to come down on Montre London, and once he did, pulls it out, gets to the corner. Connor Cook would run that occasionally, but not as quick and explosive as what we can see from Lewerke.
Not by a lunch.
No, it's a different deal.
I like you, Connor, but this is a different gear. This guy has. They fake it to Stewart in the end around and flip it. Look out, a convoy. London calling touchdown, Michigan State. What a call and what a drive. And the big house is stunned at the moment. That's right in front of the very small section of folks in green and white, that touchdown. First touchdown drive followed a fumble recovery was short. That was an 83-yard march in 9 plays. The underdogs from East Lansing go up 11 midway 2nd quarter.
Now, Michigan State breaking tendencies. They had Stewart going in motion. Looked like they might hand off to him on a jet sweep. Michigan out of position. You can see the linemen pulling. They don't have anybody to block. Jarvis and Brian Allen, and finally at the end, but a great call by Dan Warner.
And Michigan State stretches the lead here. Brian Lewerke on the drive was 5 for 5 for 72 yards on the touchdown completion to London, his first career touchdown catch. You said it perfectly, Kirk. They are coming in here swinging and landing. Impressive drive. And Michigan, which has thrown the ball on each of its last 7 offensive plays, now finds itself down 11. Thomas comes up at the 5 and tries to escape, does so on the far sideline. And has to be driven out of bounds across the 35.
Let's go back to the touchdown and watch the Michigan defense react to the movement, especially from Stewart going around. It affects this guy, and this guy. They all move with Stewart, anticipating that he's going to get the ball around on a kind of a reverse. Look at everybody out of position. There's nobody left. There's big Brian Allen and the freshman Kevin Jarvis. And Michigan's secondary didn't want anything to do with the big fella Brian Allen,
who was beaten on his chest. Watch him right here with both fists on the progressive pylon cam. Younger brother of Jack Allen is with the Saints, a center, and they got another Allen brother, a freshman center, backup. Grant Perry now on the edge as the Wolverines continue to use the pass almost exclusively.
Yeah, different approach right now from Jim Harbaugh. 8 straight plays they have gone through the air. Remember, I kind of keep waiting for them to take a shot downfield. I think that's something to try to send a message to Michigan State. I said 2 or 3 series ago that Michigan State started to seem, after the turnover, to get a little bit of footing and some confidence on how they're trying to attack the Michigan offense.
Now they run it with Evans out of the eye, and the middle is stacked up. So it'll be 3rd down and a long 4.
It's just so hard for an offensive lineman to be able to try to block and help on a defensive lineman with a double team and then climb up to that level of the linebackers, because by the time they get up there, these Michigan State linebackers in attack mode, they're past the linemen. In a lot of cases, they're in the backfield.
Need 4 on 3rd down. Spartans rush for. O'Korn escapes. He can run. The pump fake, and he will move the sticks. 1st down to the 45. Just able to use the combination of escapability, and he fooled him with the pump fake.
He sure did. And Chris Fry, just on a little bit of a twist, lost contain. O'Korn, great awareness in finding that he could be able to get to the outside and pick up that 1st down.
It's a run blitz. O'Korn is flushed. Here comes a flag as he launches it downfield. Wide open is Kakoa Crawford, who catches it and scores, but we'll check the marker. He was right there in the holding zone, and this one is going to come back.
Yeah, it looked like the running back, Ron Higdon, may have got caught up there and trying to, on pass protection, may have held Willacris.
Holding, offense number 22. 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat 1st down.
You can see 22 Willacris right there, just trying to keep contained, fighting it out, get to the outside, and Higdon just grabs onto that jersey. Lead official, head official right there. He's the one that ended up throwing the flag. It was right in front of him. So instead of a huge gain, come back and
moves that downfield shot. The 55-yard touchdown taken off the board, and it's now 1st and 20. Look at the 35. The wind has kicked up even more now. It's at the back of the Wolverine offense. O'Korn backpedals and just fires into the turf. Chris Evans was in the vicinity, but nothing doing on that play.
Yeah, that play from the very beginning, Naquan Jones all over that. He had to just throw that into the ground. Otherwise, if he throws it to Evans, Jones intercepts that ball. Michigan kind of hunting right now, searching for an identity right now. They're struggling.
In the empty backfield, O'Korn, a short completion there to Evans, and the tailback knocked down near midfield, so a very productive play to make it a makeable 3rd and 5 now.
Chris Fry taking a big chance there on 2nd and 20. He goes all out trying to make a play for a very short yard, maybe 2 or 3 yards, and instead, because of Evans and how elusive he is, he makes Chris Fry miss. There's nobody else out there. It's man to man, and picks up huge yards. Give him a chance here on 3rd down.
Wolverines have run 8 third-down plays already tonight. 3 of 7 so far, leading 6 here. Higdon again split out wide on the empty backfield set. Twisting pass rush. O'Korn running, looking, and they'll fire downfield, and it's out of bounds. Incomplete. A flag is down again. It's on the near side of the field. He was looking for Maurice Ways.
That flag was completely away from the play. Play rolled to the right. The flag was thrown way back to the left, almost near the left sideline.
John O'Neill, part of this Big Ten crew. We keep running into these guys throughout the season.
Holding. Defense number 16. 10 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
So the defensive holding. There's Wolverines an automatic first down, and the ball marched into state territory at the 41. Again, had nothing to do with the play.
No, it plays away. He's right here.
The penalty moves the ball to the 41-yard line.
He's completely away from it. Had nothing to do with the play, but Michigan catches a break.
Again, they motion to an empty backfield. Lots of this look tonight. O'Korn delivers incomplete. Tried to get a short crossing route to Peoples-Jones, smothered by Scott.
Still feel Jim Harbaugh and his offensive staff, they're just trying to get into that rhythm, find what's going to work against this blitzing Michigan State defense that very, very aggressive. Michigan State rotating a lot of bodies, trying to stay fresh up front. A lot of short throws right now for John O'Korn. A lot of crossing routes.
Into congested areas, right?
Yeah.
Evans, short second down gain. Gerald Owens, one of those tackles that's rotating in. The backup made the play.
And watch the linebackers, Chris. Watch these guys and watch how they just attack. Ball's not handed off, and they're already sprinting downhill. Boy, it makes it tough on a lineman. Really tough on a lineman to be able to try to. It's different when the linebacker's in a kind of a read and recognize, looking at his keys, you can get up to him. But they're not reading it. They're coming downhill.
3rd and 9. O'Korn trapped, yet spins away, buys time. Can't find any more time now. Dropped by Gerald Owens way back in Michigan territory.
By Gerald Owens.
Eventually the coverage sat, and the Spartans defense gets off the field.
Chris Fry's right here, and he does a good job at 6'2", 238 pounds, going up against a big tackle. That's just relentless effort. Good coverage downfield. O'Korn shakes him, but look at the Michigan State defense. Cooper is in there. Owens is in there. But it all started because of Chris Fry being able to get around the pressure of the offensive tackle trying to protect.
First sack of the night. Spartans have not had enough sacks so far this season for their liking. Just the 10th. Well, that's a big one. And fair catch made at the 17-yard line by Nelson. Spartans back to work. 4 minutes to go before halftime. Ryan Kirk, time now for our weekly test from the Bear. Chris Felica. The U, a big win, Felica. You didn't believe in the U. They took care of the Seminoles today, but I know you have other matters on your mind.
What it could have, should have became, they did and made a big play. So we'll get on to tonight's Aflac trivia question. Theme of the night. Who scored the winning touchdown for Michigan State the last time an unranked Spartan team beat a top 10 Michigan team at the Big House?
Give us a minute. Meanwhile, London breaking free, rumbling into the secondary, into Wolverines territory. It's a foot race, and they finally track him down inside the 35. Well, Jay Scott loves it.
Watch the block right here, the double team, and then you're going to pull around with the left guard this time, Higbee. Watch that double team set it up. Then a great block also by the fullback, Lucas. And London, I think, was surprised himself. All of a sudden, he finds himself in the open room with plenty of room to run.
Spartans say, I know nobody else has run against Michigan. We will. 50-yard gain, and now a downfield throw. Broken up. Nice job by Lavert Hill coming back to get in the way of that pass intended for Stewart.
Yeah, Hill was actually man-to-man with a guy way out in the flat out here. Watch what he does. Chris, you talked about how he came off. Watch how he just, right here, he comes off of his guy and then drops back into coverage and almost comes up with a heck of an interception.
Ball thrown into the wind, hung up just a little bit for Lewerke. Gave Hill a chance. London, who got a brief rest, is back in there. They fake it to Stewart. This is London. And this time he is knocked down right there by Mike McCray. Loss of a yard. Third down.
Michigan State offensive line. Some new faces up there. A lot of people wondered how could they do tonight against this Don Brown defense that is off to such a great start. Top in the country as far as rushing defense, total defense, third down defense. They have held their own up front in the trenches in his first half.
More than held their own. You're right, it's a defense that leads the Big Ten in 8 different defensive categories. They have been knocked off balance tonight. And 3rd and 11, Lewerke rolls and delivers complete. Now dropped all wide open. And Christian Jackson had a first down. Instead, it's 4th.
And Michigan just busted a coverage here. I don't know what David Long was thinking. He lets Jackson go behind him. Look at the top. He lets him go behind him. They're not in zone. Nobody picks him up. He's wide open. And Jackson just drops the ball. Michigan catches a break, a busting coverage. He's out there by himself, well beyond the first down marker, and just couldn't hold on to the football.
Spartans are going to let the play clock run down and spend the first of their 3 timeouts. 4th and 11. Hartbarger, the punter, is going to come out. It's just beyond the range of Matt Coughlin, the field goal kicker. So they will take the penalty, back up Hartbarger instead of spending the timeout, give him a little more room. Boy, that was an opportunity, though, Kirk. Michigan State.
Yeah.
Wow, going to get the ball to start the second half. A 3rd touchdown drive could have made it an 18-point lead. You'd have the Wolverines seriously on the ropes.
Yeah, if you convert there, at the very least, I mean, you're well within field goal range there. He would have caught the ball there at the 20.
Hartbarger up into the wind, just like a golf shot. And that is perfectly executed. Going to be down at the 11. All right, a lot's happened, Chris Fallica, since you asked the question.
What was his question? A touchdown, unranked Michigan State team come to the big house. Who scored their winning touchdown?
We said that it's happened plenty of times that a top 10 Michigan team has been beaten by the Spartans. So that's the guys to choose from. You're going to go back 27 years, huh? Tico Duckett.
Wow. Okay.
Here it is. Those big shoulder pads banging into the end zone. Thriller, as the Wolverines were top ranked that year.
We already showed Derek Alexander making the touchdown, setting up Dez to have a chance on the 2-point conversion, and they didn't call the pass interference on it.
Horn looking to throw. And he'll be knocked down for a second time inside the 5. Kenny Willekes got him.
Wow, what a push right here. Also, Chris, this is just an outstanding job by the coverage downfield. He has nowhere to go with the ball, and the pocket just collapses on them.
Willekes' first sack of the season. Next walk-on linebacker they've got playing defensive end. 2:20 to play. Timeout. Spartans up a.
You okay?
What happened?
Dad kind of walked into my swing.
Don't you mean Dad kind of ruined our Hawaii fund?
I should go to the hospital.
There goes the airfare. I don't think health insurance will cover all of that. Without that cash from Aflac, we might have to choose between Hawaii or your face.
Hawaii.
What?
Oh, Hawaii.
You might have less coverage than you think. Visit Aflac.com and keep your lifestyle healthy.
Aflac!
An undefeated Michigan team that came in solid favorites. They have been dominated, really, since an opening field goal drive by Michigan of 16 plays. A turnover turned it around, and now the Spartans winning in the trenches on both sides. Higdon. You run after the sack, and we'll see if Michigan State begins to kill some clock and try to do something before halftime, but they get the ball back.
Well, they're going to try to use their 2 timeouts here, preserve as much clock as they can.
The 3rd down and 12.
I mean, I don't know how many people expected to see this in the first half, where Michigan State, you knew that that's Mark D'Antonio's personality to come into a game like this in this kind of setting in a rivalry game. We even asked him, is this a game that you kind of just want to feel out, or do you come in swinging early? He said, you know me, I mean, I'm coming in swinging. And that's exactly what they've done in this first half, and they are controlling the line of scrimmage. I think that's why they have the lead right now.
It's a Spartan team off that 3 and 9. It was back in the weight room the Monday morning after the loss to Penn State. It was the longest, most difficult offseason in Michigan State history, really. A lot of off-the-field problems. We can detail that later. Some legal problems. 3 guys dismissed from the team after some serious charges who would have helped this team. And he said, we got to climb all the way back up the ladder. We have to re-earn respect. Even though they made the college football playoff a couple of years ago, won the conference, a game like this can go a long way.
Yeah, and that's kind of where he likes to be, trying to earn respect.
3rd and 12. Play action. O'Korn looking downfield. And it's a jump ball battle out of bounds. It was Peoples-Jones again, well covered by Josiah Scott. Clock stops with 2:13. Spartans will have pretty good field position and plenty of time now.
The one thing he does here, he's a young receiver. You want to stay a little bit closer to the numbers. He took himself out. See how he's taking away the cushion? See how the quarterback's throwing the ball out over the left shoulder, the outside shoulder? Receiver needs to give himself an alley to work to walk, to be able to pull away from the defender. O'Korn threw it where he was supposed to, but the young Peoples-Jones took himself out of that route.
Brad Robbins in his end zone. This one aided by the wind is a boomer. Nelson has to retreat all the way inside the 35. Eludes a couple men and will be knocked down at the 44. So 2:01, a timeout to work with. Week 5 of Sunday NFL Countdown comes your way at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning on ESPN. All the stories that you need to know. And then Monday night, the Bears and the Vikes, as Mitchell Trubisky, the former Tar Heel, takes over his first career start. Game also available in Spanish on ESPN2. Sid coming out swinging and aggressive, and see how aggressive they get here.
Plenty of time for Lewerke, and by Michigan taking that shot downfield and ends up being incomplete, obviously Michigan State's able to hold on to that last time out here for Lewerke.
From the pocket, looks downfield for Stewart, and that's broken up. It's Lavert Hill, one of the new corners who shows those excellent coverage skills.
And this secondary lost all 4 of their starters: Jordan Lewis, Monte Thomas, Delano Hill, Channing Stribling. All those guys have moved on, and kind of that next wave of defenders on that back end. And Lavert Hill is kind of leading the way. Great man-to-man skills, which you have to have in this defense.
I mean, 8 of the 11 Wolverine players drafted. That was the most for any school off this defensive side. So again, just the one starter back this year, McCray.
He's going to have to use that timeout.
Not what they wanted to do, but the play clock was running down. Still 1:56. As you begin to think about a field goal attempt, consider that it's a pretty stiff breeze that Coughlin would have to kick into here. BMW halftime report. Kevin Negandhi, Mac Brown, and Booger McFarland. Scores and highlights. Updates what's going on around the country. The Crimson Tide in action. Highlights of that Miami victory over Florida State and just about the final play.
It's funny. We were talking on College Game Day this morning. It felt like one of those Saturdays where, well, look at all these teams that are ranked very high, should be able to blow everybody out. Next thing you know, you start watching the games, and not only does Oklahoma lose to Iowa State, there were some great games throughout the entire day. Another great day of college football.
TCU, a hard-fought battle with the Mountaineers. It was really low-scoring early.
Yeah, the Miami-Florida State game, you know, even though it doesn't necessarily have Miami and Florida State up in the top 10 of the country, that one lived up to its hype.
So no more timeouts. They got to go about 25 yards to get into field goal range for Coughlin into this wind. Got to get you about the 30 at Michigan. This is London has been the offensive star of this first half for a short game. Now you got to show some urgency.
And now the shoe's on the other foot, maybe, depending on how they respond. Jim Harbaugh may be asked to use some of his timeouts. That's exactly what they're going to do. Michigan's going to use one of their 2 remaining timeouts.
Take a look at the college football rankings brought to you by PlayStation. You use the AP poll until the first playoff rankings come out at the end of the month. Clemson took care of business, a home field victory over Wake Forest.
Sure did. Oklahoma is sitting there at 3, goes down.
I mean, not just good. That is a 4-touchdown-and-a-half underdog. That's one of the biggest upsets in recent history.
Yes. Georgia just continues to look great. Penn State workmanlike with what they needed to do in Evanston today. Washington in a late game tonight.
Chris Peterson special there.
Yeah.
7:45 Pacific time against the Bears. Wisconsin and Nebraska early going. We'll keep you posted on that game. Penn State a week off, and then they get set to host the Wolverines. We'll have that game for you in a couple of weeks from Happy Valley. So now it's 3rd and 7. Wolverines can stop the clock if they get a stop here. Lewerke pressured, escapes and dragged down now right at the line of scrimmage by Rashawn Gary. And Michigan will take the timeout.
That's a great job here by Michigan. Some movement, but they only end up rushing 4. They showed pressure. They back out of it. They bring 4. Maurice Hurst is in there, but Gary and both those guys can get after the quarterback.
Oh,
yeah.
One hand on the jersey.
I think we've seen him more active tonight in just his first half than we've seen him all year, only because he's been chipped by running backs and tight ends. They slide the line his way. You give him a chance to make a play one-on-one, and he will deliver. Coaches say he's having a monster year, even though the numbers don't necessarily show it.
Isn't that the ultimate compliment when they always double team you on that end? And it does open things up for other guys. Peoples-Jones standing at his 16. And the Spartans will be backed up 5 more.
Ball start. Offense number 44. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Interesting to see if Peoples-Jones, who took a punt back for a touchdown against Air Force, can make a play here, give Michigan better field position, and perhaps encourage them to be more aggressive with the play calling with 1:34 before the break. Wolverines come after it. Hartberger gets it away. It's a very short kick. Wonder if it was deflected. We'll have to check. It spins out of bounds at the 37. But they came hard after the punt.
Yeah, I thought he might get it clean. No, he didn't touch it.
Jared Wangler pressured him.
But you know what's crazy is they didn't touch it, but he had to hurry it. He rushed it, and by rushing it, he ends up hitting it poorly.
Just 22 yards. And so Michigan now perhaps will take an aggressive approach, try to cut into the lead here before the break.
O'Korn off to a very tough start. 8 of 17 for 67 yards. Can he put something together here without any timeouts? Try to find some matchups that are favorable. And Perry, usually a guy that he likes to try to find, along with Crawford, number 1.
They've reset the clock to 1:32. No timeouts for the Wolverines. And they throw it to the edge. And this is Perry, who is stopped after a 9-yard gain inbounds by Willis.
Inbounds and just short of the first down. You mentioned the 9 yards, so that's where O'Korn, all his preparation as that backup quarterback, now being the starter, that's where this pays off for him.
Spartans showing pressure. They bring it, and O'Korn spun down and hit behind the line for the 3rd time. That's Joe Bocci, your guy in the blitz.
Yep, Bocci comes clean. They move him around this way. Nobody picks him up. And that's the last thing that O'Korn should do. Every quarterback from middle school all the way up knows that in this situation, you have no timeouts. You cannot take a sack. Look at the clock just ticking down.
3rd and 12. O'Korn looking to escape, fires over the middle, and it's caught. Catch made by McCune, the tight end. Now he loses the ball. It comes out and the Spartans recover it. So after the long completion, it's a turnover. Just second of the night for the Wolverines.
Great effort by McCune to try to pick up yards, but as he's doing that, Justin Lane sneaks in from behind and knocks the ball away. It's a heck of an effort, by the way, by O'Korn, finding him, delivering it. Watch as McCune, here's two right there. Bang, he knocks the ball loose. And Michigan State jumps on top of it with David Dow. But the effort to not give up by Justin Lane gives Sparty their second turnover here in the first half.
You're talking about a corner was moved from wide receiver a year ago. He's played a terrific first half.
Absolutely. All over the field.
So turnover is crucial for Michigan. It really switched momentum. The fumble by Isaac in the first quarter, and that removing what would have been a very likely 3 points because they were well within Nordine's field goal range. Instead, Michigan State, as D'Antonio promised, would come in swinging as the underdog. A couple of touchdowns in the first half, a couple of takeaways, and the Spartans, who will get the football to begin the second half, lead by 11 in front of a stunned Big House. Michigan limited to 155 total yards in the first half. The BMW halftime report is coming up. Michigan State charges to the locker room, up by 11. Back after these messages. And welcome back to Saturday Night Football, presented by Wells Fargo in this presentation of the Big Ten on ABC. Got two plot lines here in the Big House. One, an upset brewing as O'Korn and the Wolverines find themselves down by 11. The other, a storm brewing. Chris Fowler back with Kurt Herbstreit, Maria Taylor on the sidelines, which could be wet within about a half hour. The rain is headed this direction, the possibility of lightning. So the Spartans will get the ball to begin the second half up 11, liking their position at the moment.
Yeah, and I think if you're Jim Harbaugh, you walk into that locker room, and let's face it, Michigan State was able to control things up front. Michigan got a little bit flat. Atmosphere got a little bit flat. I'm sure he's rattling a few cages trying to say it doesn't really matter at this point what the calls are. It's more about an attitude. It's a rivalry game. Where's the fight? You got to get in the trenches and start taking control. Their defense gets a chance to come out here first. They got to try to set the tone here early.
Yeah, very impressive from Brian Lewerke and a Spartans team that we told you is inexperienced. Only 12 guys on the travel squad tonight have played in the Big House before. It's their first road game of the season. Think about how they played in this environment in the first 30 minutes, given those circumstances.
Great point. Played very, very well. Still have 30 minutes of football to go.
And that's, I'm sure, what D'Antonio was telling his team at the break. Andrew Welch, the wide receiver, back in the end zone. You see the kickoff from James Folk. And the lefty boots hit high. And to the 3. Welch. Very little room to run. A couple of flags come down as he is strung out and dropped at the 11. But this figures to really back up Michigan State now in their first possession of the third quarter.
Yeah, it looked like a hold there by Michigan State. Blocking the back, and that'll push Michigan State back. And we just talked about it. If you're Michigan, that's your message. Get the ball back, 3 and out, get them off the field, and try to get things going here.
During the return, holding number 81 on the return team. Half the distance from the spot of the foul. First down.
That's Matt Sokol, the tight end. So our Pacific Life game summary takes a look at the touchdowns created in the first half by Lewerke. The first was a scramble as he dives into the end zone, shows the wheels, and then the beautifully constructed touchdown pass to London with those big guys out in front.
Yeah, great call here by Dave Warner, but I think that scramble set the tone to let that Michigan defense know that they had to deal with that, and then the 2 turnovers. Bocce on that first one, ripped it out of there. Chris Fry jumped on top of it. And what a great effort by Justin Lane to knock that ball out before Dow jumped on top of it.
Yeah, that denied Michigan a chance at likely 3 points before the break. So backed up to 7 after the penalty. London gets nothing on first down, and a wind is just picking up and swirling in this big stadium. It's a factor both quarterbacks are going to have to deal with in the second half.
Oh, yeah. Right now it's at the back of the Michigan offense or the Michigan team. Once they get the ball, they'll have that wind to work with.
You can see the flag from the top of the goalpost. You got trash whipping around the field. And that storm, as we said, approaching perhaps within a half hour.
Right in front of the student section, loudest part of this stadium.
Lewerke flips it. Some soft coverage and a completion over there to Stewart, who's knocked down. It'll be third down. That radar map we've been showing you throughout the evening, it's getting closer, Kurt, to Ann Arbor. that is ominous looking. That wall, that north-south wall of thunderstorms.
Saying now about 10:20 it should arrive here in Ann Arbor.
About a half hour away. Meanwhile, the Spartans with some noise and a 3rd and 5 to deal with. It's 1 of 5 tonight on third. Lewerke does have some time now, retreats and rolls into his end zone. Chaston just throws it away. Knocked down by Gary after he got it away, but a 3 and out.
Yeah, Michigan rushed 3 and still got pressure. And again, we continue to see Gary left alone instead of doubling him or using a tight end to chip. And to me, you don't have to come up with a sack. Just to be able to chase him out of there and make him throw the ball away on a 3rd down, just as big, and they get the 3 and out and get the ball back to their offense in O'Korn.
So Harparker punting into the wind, the tricky conditions for the freshman returner, Peoples-Jones, who's standing about midfield. Wolverines drop back for the return. It's a very low kick into that wind. That's effectively done. Peoples-Jones on the bounce. That is terrific coverage by Michigan State. You can't do better than that into a wind. Flying down Kerry Willis, and Michigan will start inside its own 40 as we check in with Maria.
Well, Chris, coming out of the locker room, Jim Harbaugh, he told his offense that they have to have poise in this second half because the turnovers that they have given up have really compromised their situation in this game. He wants them stringing together long drives, moving the chains consistently. As for his defense, he'll be happy about that 3 and out. He said they played very well in the first half. They just gave up a couple of big plays that held them back.
Maria, I have a question for you. Do you have rain gear ready down there?
I do, actually. Hat and jacket.
It's a carry for Ty Isaac, the first since he fumbled. Bocce, who ripped the ball out of his hands, made the tackle that play.
Yep, continues to be tough sledding in between the tackles for this Michigan offensive line. Remember, a theme that we felt that we saw throughout the whole first half was that Michigan State won the battle at the line of scrimmage against that Michigan offensive line. I think Jim Harbaugh and his offensive staff have to come up with some wrinkles to try to slow down Michigan State in their pressure that they're putting on them up front.
O'Korn looking to throw for the 20th time tonight. It's incomplete off the hands of Grant Perry, who was open.
He was, and there he is again. O'Korn improvising, eyes downfield, does a good job of doing everything except being able to convert this. You'll see Perry coming as he moves to his right. Perry's going to break free. Nice window there, sits in a soft spot and just unable to come up with a catch.
You put that on the quarterback, though.
Yeah. He was flushed. He did everything great. Was patient, waited for Perry to clear, just didn't make an accurate throw.
3rd and 8. They fake it to Isaac. O'Korn has to step up. Escapes briefly, hit hard, short of the first down. You are going to pay the price when you try to scramble for yards against this defense. Brandon Randall, linebacker, hit him.
Yeah, 26, Randall got in. There were a bunch of white jerseys chasing him down at top left. Right there is the big hit that sent him back short of that first down. Michigan State, again, very different on 3rd down this year. A lot more zone, which means eyes on the football. So when a quarterback scrambles, you can see it and you can rally to the ball. Last year, a lot more man-to-man.
Yeah, different and very effective. Opponents converting less than 30% of the 3rd down chances so far this season. That's over the head of Nelson, who tries to run it down inside the 5. Didn't need to unless it touched his hands on the initial attempt.
I think it did. I think it went off of his hands.
Let's check and see. Yeah. In any case, Michigan State back inside the 5. A 48-yard punt.
Yeah, off the left hand. He had to get a hold of that.
Took a lucky bounce for him after the initial muff. Right after the game on ESPN News and the ESPN App Sports Center, your Harbaugh's press conference line, plus a couple other college football storylines for you right after the game. Michigan State, after the near disaster special teams play by Nelson, muffed it and went back and grabbed it at the second, and now
61 after distance to the goal, still first down.
Chewins is flagged. That'll cost him a yard, and this, as you said, this is the noisiest part of the stadium.
Yep. Well, these first two drives that Michigan State's had the football, terrible field position, plays right into the hands of the attacking Michigan defense. Not only trying to come up with a stop and 3 and out to give them good field position, but they're also thinking about turnover. Try to get the ball, either score or get a short field. They started at their own 7 and now at their own 2.
Wolverines have 3 defensive touchdowns this year. Michigan State hasn't committed a turnover yet tonight. And 1st and 11, Lewerke rolls from the end zone, pressured, and to avoid a safety, just has to fling it near the crowd. Winovich is chasing him.
Winovich got to him. The back, Madre London, tried to pick him up, but Winovich has a knack for getting to the quarterback. Coming into the night, 5.5 sacks, which leads the Wolverines. They move him around quite a bit. That time he just fought off the edge and got into the face of Lewerke before he threw it.
Look at this massive student section moving their arms up and down, trying to make things very tough on the visitors right now. London from the eye. Nothing. Battles just to avoid a safety. Michigan defenders pleading for a safety. Don't get the call, but he ran into a stone wall.
This is again, they're shooting gaps. Hurst is just already in the backfield because of how quickly he got off the football. Look at the progressive pylon cam right here. Look at that Michigan defense pushing them back.
He broke the plane before he was shoved back, but it's just getting tougher and tougher. 3rd and 11. Lewerke rolls and battles just to get out to the 4. Poor field position, charged up defense, crowd noise, and it's 3 and out.
It's a great job of taking advantage and having them pinned back. Dave Warner, the offensive coordinator, just didn't want a critical mistake. 3 plays where it's, you either throw it away or just get out of the end zone. And now it's a special team for Michigan to try to, again, get great field position. See if they come after him or set up the return.
It's a short punt snap situation. Hartbarger just about 12 yards from the football. Peoples-Jones has to be careful with the windy conditions that just bothered Nelson. Got to hurry. And they did not get it off. So now he's going to be backed up 2 yards closer to the goal line.
Before the snap, delay of game offense. After distance to the goal, still 4th down.
Now you just got to take this snap of your Hartbarger and kick it away quickly. It's into the wind, too. So Peoples-Jones, the returner, standing inside the Michigan State 40. Talk about a short field. One step, boots it low. Peoples-Jones at the 41. Makes one cut, and Michigan will take over at the 33-yard line. So John O'Korn talked about his struggles in the first half, but he's an experienced veteran guy. Kirk, what's the advice that he's got from the coaches?
Jim Harbaugh and his offensive staff make some adjustments at halftime, trying to find ways to be able to get O'Korn and this offense going. Again, just 10 of 20, 112 yards. They have great field position, but do you want to be ultra conservative? Do you want to just run the ball and have those short intermediate throws? Or do you want to maybe take some chances and take advantage of O'Korn's athletic ability and try to get him outside and maybe try to throw the ball downfield?
Isaac motions out. O'Korn is flushed again. Shows that athletic ability. Now just flips a short pass complete. And it's Khalid Hill, making the catch and getting down inside the 15.
He looked deep to Crawford to his left. Watch his head looking left. He was about to unload it, but good coverage by Scott. And this is again what O'Korn can do. Risky pass, but he finds the big fella in front of Willis for the first down. Soft hands for 265 pounds.
18-yard gain. Isaac has to bounce it quick. Penetration by the Spartans line. Willikis. Andrew Dow makes another play.
Yeah, Willikis with a heck of a play. Remember, this is a former walk-on against Mason Cole. This battle right here. Watch him get separation, use his hands, and push Cole back. That kind of set the edge there. Then he ends up making the tackle. That is a big-time play by Willikis. 6'4", 245-pound. Former walk-on playing defensive end and playing with an attitude.
Just a guy who's a hard worker, a tough guy, built for this kind of rivalry game. Showing up tonight.
It's Mason Cole, left tackle, 4-year starter for Michigan. He just pushed him in the backfield.
He fake it to Higdon. Strike across the middle. Touchdown, Grant Perry. Wolverines find the end zone for the first time. An 18-yard touchdown pass. Let's make sure that Perry got in before he fell down. Backing up and goes down there. The ball, you could make a case, is just short of the plane.
That ruling is under further review.
Bring in Dave Katai, our rules expert, in the booth for the first time tonight. And that angle won't show with the ball nosed across Dave, but how did you see that initial replay we showed?
Initial replay is very close. It's where his rear end goes down and the position of the ball when his back is down. This is real close.
Another
Probably
look
the
at
best,
this one.
It's our best look that we have here.
Boom, right there.
Wow, Dave, I don't know if that ball breaks the plane there.
You take a look at it there for the progressive pylon cam. That ball looks short. Now, whether they have enough to overturn it, but you can see it there. Depends when that the back hits the ground when the ball is in that position. And right now, you're getting a pretty good close-up. It looks short.
Yeah.
I like how you worked in the progressive pylon.
Yeah, you got that in there, Davey. Attaboy. Hey, when we talk about linebackers coming down, here's Perry. He's going to work to the middle behind those linebackers, but watch how they come up. Now you've got a throwing lane back here. Right in this window right here behind them.
After further review, the runner's knee was down short of the goal line. It'll be 1st and goal at the 1-foot line. The clock will start on the ready for play.
It wasn't his knee that was down, but we get the point. It's not a touchdown. It'll be 1st and goal.
It was not his knee. You are correct.
And he's disappointed, but the Wolverines with a couple of 18-yard pass plays in this drive, making good use of the field position.
And you talked when they got that great field position, how they might attack. We talked about maybe instead of those shorter passes that we've seen most of the night, maybe go downfield, maybe take a couple shots, and now they find themselves all the way down inside the 1-yard line.
This is Harbaugh. This is Michigan. They're at the half-yard line. Here comes the beef. Expect a lot of muscle in this formation. I'd say at least 2 or 3 tight ends.
If you include Hill, you got 4.
It's Higdon behind Hill. And Hill, as O'Korn stumbles, hands off to him, muscles down, no signal. Yes, he's in. Touchdown for the big fella. It wasn't pretty at all, but it does produce the first touchdown for the Wolverines.
O'Korn, lucky he just got rid of the football. He got stepped on by the center. Kugler got pushed back. He got the ball off to Hill, and Hill just kept those legs churning and ends up in the end zone.
You'd ask for the short yardage specialist. 9th career touchdown. 9 of the 11 he scored are 1-yard plunges, and that was a plunge. He had to earn it, but Michigan driving 33 yards after the punt and the return. Nordine knocks it through, and suddenly it's a 4-point game. Here's what you talked about, the center.
Yeah, the center gets pushed back into the backfield. but a good job not giving up. O'Korn just gets it to Hill, and look at that leg drive.
How's it feel for a foot of a quarterback, right? When you get stepped on?
Yeah, well, it doesn't hurt at all as long as you're able to do that. Get the ball to the man.
Okay.
And let the big fella do the work.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Wells Fargo, is brought to you by Chevy, the only brand to earn J.D. Power Dependability Awards for cars, trucks, and SUVs 2 years in a row. And Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Some of the Michigan greats, many of whom made plays in this rivalry game. Harbaugh's team using field position, a charged up defense, got him the ball to 33. And the short touchdown drive cuts the lead to 4 as the rain begins to fall in Ann Arbor. And then line of a storm is getting closer. There's a flag down on the kickoff as Welch takes a knee. The Wolverines a little eager offside. The wind continues to just swirl all around this place.
Offside on the kickoff. 5-yard penalty will be added on to the end of the run. First down.
And there was no run, but after the touchback, they'll move it. And here comes that weather we've talked about throughout the evening. I think the heavy stuff is still a ways off. But look, which way is it blowing, Coach? You analyze that for me. It's all over the place here. The end where the Spartans are, the wind is very much in their face, though.
We got a game now, 14-10. Michigan State, the first 2 times they've had the ball, we talked about, started their own 7, their own 2. This time they'll start at their own 30. But they've been more in defensive mode those first 2 possessions. Backed way up.
Lewerke with a wet football delivers, and it's incomplete. We're going to see the weather play an increasingly important role. Sokol couldn't hold on, and there's another flag down. Ineligible downfield.
Ineligible receiver downfield, number 85. 5 yards from the previous spot. Correction, 81. 5 yards from the previous spot. Still first down.
Who's the man they threw the ball to?
Yeah, they went tackle over, and because the tackle was lined up as a tight end, and then he was cut. The tight end, who was Sokol, was lined up to his left, but he was lined up as an offensive tackle, and he was covered up. Couldn't go out.
So first and 15. Lewerke shovel pass, a safe play inside, but into heavy traffic, and that's Sokol again. And the rain picking up, swirling around inside this big place.
You know, you have a 14-10 lead. What did we talk about Michigan State did in that first half? They're on the road in the big house with a young team.
You're not swinging.
Would you ease in, or would you come out swinging? The reason they built a lead is Dave Warner, as a play caller, and Mark D'Antonio, as a head coach, said, hey, let's not be timid. Now you have a lead. Now you have weather. How do you approach the game with that lead? Do you now get a little bit more conservative? Because that'll play into the hands of the Michigan defense.
On 2nd and 12, Lewerke flips it high off the hands of Sokol, and then almost caught on the carom by Stewart. But it's 3rd and 12.
Before it went to Stewart, David Long said, I'll take that. I mean, it went through Sokol's hands, David Long's hands, and then almost to Stewart. Might be that kind of second half. Off the tight end, off the DB, and almost to the outside to Stewart.
You get a feeling that some wackiness is going to happen here before this one's done.
Oh boy, this is what Michigan wants right here. 3rd and long, and he's in empty, which means what? Get the ball out of your hands immediately.
Wolverines rush 4. Lewerke's running all the way, trying to make a man miss. Does escape and fights, but does not get first down yardage. David Long, the corner, corralled him 2 yards short of the marker, and here comes a punt.
And again, nice safe call, backed up in their own territory, and again, the athletic ability by Lewerke almost almost is able to fight for that first down, but Michigan keeps him short with a tackle there by David Long. Went empty to try to spread the Michigan defense out and then try to find a little bit of wiggle room in the middle.
Spartans only had 7 3-and-outs on offense coming in against lesser competition. 5 tonight, and now all 3 third-quarter possessions are 3-and-out. Peoples-Jones received the low Hart-Barger punt. Fields it at the 20 and is going to be dropped for a short loss. So John O'Korn and the Wolverines back to work, down only 4 with the Storm getting closer.
Kenny with a lob into the corner. Michigan State. Touchdown Manningham. Michigan wins it with a comeback led by Chad Penning.
That was after that game that Mike Hart made the little brother statement that has changed the course of this rivalry. Wolverines take over after the excellent punt, a 42-yarder by Hart-Barger into the wind. And this is Higdon with the first down carry. Kirk, draw it up for us here.
Our friends in East Lansing, they've already been through the worst part of it, and how close we are there.
This is just the light green stuff that's hit. The orange and the yellow is still to come. The 2 campuses 59 miles apart. Folks have planned ahead and brought their rain gear. Khalid Hill, by the way, is the Wolverine player, the fullback who scored on the short touchdown run. He's being looked at by the athletic trainers on the field. So now it's already midway third quarter. Michigan has chipped away at the lead now, but you get settled into a game where neither team wants to be cautious, but these elements will come into play.
That's what I brought that up, just because how do you approach it? Michigan State, they have a lead. Are they going to sit on that lead? Because they've been able to build that lead by being aggressive. The weather changes that up. And Michigan, the reason they got into the end zone is they finally attacked downfield and made a few big plays with John O'Korn in the passing game. So the weather, and it's going to hit within the next maybe 10 minutes, will have obviously a big factor in how this thing ends up.
Absolutely. You see the highlights of this great rivalry's history, and you wonder if something's going to unfold here in the next 21 minutes to add to that. Well, finally up and being helped to the near sidelines. 265 pounds of him.
Such a valuable player to this team, a senior, 5th-year guy. Right here near here in Detroit. Good to see him not only walking off the field, but he's got a little bit of hop in his step. Looks like a good chance. Hopefully he'll be back out there.
2nd and 5. You said O'Korn regaining some confidence. A couple of nice throws in that previous touchdown drive. After a difficult first half, he's been pressured a lot by that Michigan State front. Spartans crowding the line again. And now back away. Higdon picks his way and hammers forward near the first down yarder.
Really good push there on that right side. Michigan State defensive line slanting to the Michigan offensive line to their left. Watch Michigan State, watch them slide this way, almost just take themselves out of the play. Pretty good vision and patience by Higdon. And look at the drive there by that Michigan offensive line to get him that first down.
One of those good-looking tight ends, Zach Gentry. He drove Bocce back. He's becoming an improved blocker as well as a talented pass catcher. Higdon, hard-earned first down gain of about 6. Momentum has really shifted. You can just feel the energy coming to the maize and blue now.
It's getting physical. Jim Harbaugh's answer to this weather is get that offensive line cranked up and follow those fullbacks and hand the ball off. Big collisions right now in the trenches.
You feed Higdon, sophomore out of Sarasota, breaks free again. Another first down gain across the 40.
Maybe the first time all night that we've seen Michigan's offensive line assert themselves and get a push. Maybe the opening drive, but since then, it's the first time these last 2 or 3 plays where Michigan's coming off the ball and pushing that Michigan State defensive line, getting up to those linebackers.
O'Korn from the pocket, pressured again. Able to wriggle free. Now just flips it incomplete. He tried to get it to Henry Poggi, the fullback, in improvisation, but incomplete.
Love
the
it.
Flag is down.
It was late, too.
A couple of flags down. One near the line of scrimmage. Did he cross the line before he flipped it?
He was behind the line. Yeah, he was well behind the line.
So that's not one of the flags. There's another in the defensive backfield. See the improvisational skills of O'Korn.
Holding. Offense number 52. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat, first down.
Watch Mason Cole lock up with Chris Fry, 23. Right there at the top. Fry's trying to reach for O'Korn. Cole body slams him, takes him down. But you're right, I love that
Number
backyard
one on the
football
offense.
style. A little flip, a little shovel pass.
There's also one unsportsmanlike penalties that'll offset away from the pit.
The second one was on the 22, number 22 on the defense. Those fouls offset. We will repeat, first down.
So Josiah Scott on sportsmanlike conduct, that erases the penalty on Cole, and they'll do it over.
Yeah, the true freshman there. He's played pretty well in coverage. That time making a mistake.
Didn't catch who the Michigan were offsetting personal foul, so the holding penalty does stand. It's 1st and 20. O'Korn squirms free, makes something of nothing, gets 8 yards on the scramble before Lane stopped him.
You're going to see him get pressure if you're watching this, but really I think that's as much about the coverage and him giving up on it. The pocket was established. He just starts to take off. There was really no pressure. I think that's the difference with Wilton Speight. He's going to sit there and sit in that pocket because he's not going to go anywhere. O'Korn that time taking off a little bit prematurely.
O'Korn looks over the middle, incomplete. No, it's intercepted. Over the receiver's head, and David Dowell's got it. And a third takeaway for the Spartans sets them up in Michigan territory. And now, way after the play, O'Korn is just run over by a Spartan offensive lineman, and tempers flaring. Anishuk ran over the quarterback, but what another play by Dowell.
Dowell's back there just sitting, reading the coverage. Ball might have been tipped by Bocci, but Dowell puts his hand down on it and comes up with the interception.
On the defense, number 72. 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
That is, we'll look at the penalty in a second, but how about this interception? Did Bocci get a hand on it? I think he may have. And I think Crawford coming across also did. That was a crazy play, and Dowell just kind of reached down. Ball goes up in the air, he comes up with it, and that's the play you're talking about at the end.
Wow. And that was well after the return had finished.
And you see Mason Cole jump into his quarterback's defense. He clearly went after O'Korn. He knew his interception. He's looking around. Where's the quarterback? He dialed him up in a heartbeat.
So moves him back 15 yards. And the Spartans will start at their 43. But the turnover count 3-zip. Nowhere for London to run. Battles back to the line of scrimmage.
Remember, this is a defense that coming in between the tackles had not given up a whole lot of yards. 5 in the entire season between the tackles. Michigan State, to their credit, they've had more success. 125 yards tonight on the ground. Not all those between the tackle, but the point is, you're not typically going to have a lot of success between the tackles with this defense and their style, the way they shoot gaps, and those linebackers make plays.
London on 2nd and 11, again stopped from no gain. Talked about the importance of the rushing edge in this rivalry head-to-head. Michigan with just 80 yards rushing when you subtract the sack yardage tonight, so a big edge for Michigan State so far.
Second half's been a completely different feel, and I think Jim Harbaugh and Don Brown, they went into that locker room and just did exactly what we talked about. Challenged their manhood. challenge those defensive linemen and those offensive linemen, challenge them to be able to compete and fight in this rivalry game. They sure have done that here in the second half.
Connor Haywood motions out. The rookie looks at his direction but flips it back to London. It's a similar play to the one that scored the touchdown, but the Wolverines were ready. McCray stopped him. It's 4th down.
Yep, great call by Don Brown. They sat back in zone. Known for a lot of man-to-man, maybe anticipating that screen. Everybody's able to see it. Eyes on the ball and chased it down.
Following the turnover, Wolverine defense does its job. Now Parker will try to pin back Peoples-Jones, who stands at his 14. Points already. The important thing, of course, is to collect the snap with the football wet. He does that and gets it away and just drives it away from Peoples-Jones. Ball out near the 15-yard line. Next week, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the Red River rivalry. Baker Mayfield and the Sooners coming off that stunning home field loss to Iowa State as a 31-point favorite. Take on the Longhorns in the Cotton Bowl. 3:30 Eastern Time, not the usual noon kick for that game. Texas playing Kansas State tonight. We'll get you an update on that one.
Michigan State's offense yet to have a first down in the second half.
Chris Evans. And Joe Bocci, middle linebacker, plugging the hole. You see, when you have a guy playing that position on defense, you have to be a leader. You have to call the signals. And as a true sophomore, he played less than 100 snaps last year, Kirk. Able to step in and improve in the offseason and just show his natural leadership.
Think about all the years that the Michigan State's been playing defense, how many great middle linebackers they've had in the Mark D'Antonio era. Max Bulla, Riley Bulla. The baton has been handed down to Joe Bocci.
Byron Bulla, the younger brother, is backing up Bocci at that linebacker position. O'Korn, nobody open, and he's going to be dropped again. And Willikis got him as we check in with Maria.
We saw Khalid Hill. He had to be helped off the field, but he's had his left ankle re-taped. He's got his helmet back on. Trainers are saying they will see if he can go back in this series.
Well, it's 3rd down and long, final 40 seconds of the 3rd quarter.
John O'Korn's going to look back. He hasn't played a lot of football because it's going back to his freshman year. But one of the things he's going to have to improve on with Wilton Spade out for a number of weeks is being patient in the pocket. He's an athletic guy. He looks at the primary, and then instead of waiting and finding that second or third option, he's bailing. He's getting out and scrambling when he doesn't need to. There's no pressure.
Got to hurry here. Backpedals, flips it in a screen. Catch is made to McCune, and the tight end bangs forward, gets a first down across the 25. It's a big play for the Wolverines. Figures to be the final play of this 3rd quarter.
Big tight end, 6'5", 248 pounds. Looks like Kerry Willis is down. Tight end, when he picks up speed, bring the blitz off to the left. Nobody there. Perfectly timed by O'Korn. Now he picks up that momentum. He's running over guys.
He really is emerging. Only had 5 catches in the first 3 games combined. Then he had 5 catches against Purdue. Very involved in the win over the Boilermakers.
Yeah, he and both Zach Gentry and he both had a big game against Purdue.
So Willis helped off, and you can just feel it. This is going to be a very compelling final 15 minutes in the Big House. The hard hits, wear and tear beginning to show. The really ugly weather, perhaps just a few minutes away now.
It's a big loss, by the way, with Willis down. They turn to Matt Morrissey, number 10.
Let's see if they snap it for the quarter here. 2-1. Just get it away. And O'Korn, with the wind at his back, loops it downfield to Crawford. Incomplete. Very well defended along that Michigan sideline by the freshman Scott. And that downfield shot ends the 3rd quarter. 15 minutes to play for the Paul Bunyan Trophy and bragging rights in the state. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. spirited sing-along here as we get set for the final quarter in the Big House. Michigan has been an excellent fourth quarter team. Have not allowed a point. Outscored opponents 43-0 in the fourth quarter. And the rain getting heavier by the minute. Ron Higdon is the back. He's got a small crease. Got to be careful with that wet football knocked down at the 34.
What better way to have this game than to have this kind of weather in the fourth quarter to help decide the outcome?
Look, we're in the booth.
Yeah, well, but I mean, it's a rivalry game, and you're in the Big Ten. It's great. The only thing we need is a natural surface with some mud.
Are you loving this if you're an offensive player right now, though?
No, not at all.
Empty backfield. Higdon is set out wide to the left. McCorn fumbles the snap. Scrambling, looking to throw it. Flag down. Intercepted. Intercepted by Bocci at the 41.
Holding. Offense number 76. Penalties decline. Result of the play is an interception. 1st and 10.
A bad start with the fumbled shotgun snap and a disastrous finish. A 4th Michigan turnover.
O'Korn wanted to get the ball thrown out quickly. Watch his eyes. He starts to look out there before he's able to hold on to the ball. He had Perry on a quick out, and he tried to get the ball out quick to Perry. Then he just starts to improvise. Almost shot puts the ball there, Chris. Watch how he wants to get the ball. He peeks up, doesn't secure the ball because he's trying to get it out there so quickly. And with a wet ball in these conditions, you just can't do that. And there's our guy Bocci again coming up with a big play.
He didn't have the laces.
No, he shot
at all.
Yeah, he just heaved it.
Michigan State. Clock running. 4 in the play clock. Takes over Wolverine territory. Lewerke keeps it. Bangs ahead for 9. 4 straight 3-and-outs for this offense, but that's given him a spark.
They get great field position. They really haven't shown this. Watch the center, Allen pulling around the left guard, also Higbee. But right there, lowering the shoulder, a big hit by Devin Bush. The willingness was the quote from the coaches. Yeah, he can run, Lewerke, but he has a willingness to do it, which they really love, and he showed it right there. Devin Bush, one of the hardest hitting linebackers in the Big Ten.
Tell you what, Devin Bush popped him in the head. Allen, the center, is down, and David Long, who was on the receiving end of that big blow delivered by Lewerke, he's out of the game right now.
Yeah, he took a hit right to the shoulder, 22, right there on his left shoulder. There's the big hit by Devin Bush. But Brian Allen, man, the Allens over the years, Jack Allen, Brian Allen, there's another younger one here that's a freshman, Matt Allen. Parents have to be awfully proud of these guys. Not just great players, it's just a certain toughness, intangibles that they bring to the table. And right now, Brian's providing that as a senior.
Great student. He's really what you look for in a student athlete. He's always among the finalists for the Campbell Trophy, which goes to the top. Student athlete football player. He'll limp off, but you get the feeling he's not going to stay out for long.
No chance. He said, I'll give you a play, and I'm back in.
We'll have to see if it is Matt Allen, his younger brother, who does replace him, number 64. Yeah, it's starting to come down now.
It's Big Ten football, boys.
We showed you the radar. We showed you the yellow and the green. This is now the red. The red has arrived. Gerald Holmes on 2nd and 2. Hit, driving, doesn't get first down yardage in the first time, but then able to break free from the tackle of Winovich and fight near the marker.
Boy, Winovich making plays. You think of him as a pass rush specialist, but making plays against the run on that 2nd and short. Matt Allen was actually in on that play for his older brother, Brian Allen.
And Brian has come back in. Snap the ball.
That's big with the weather. To have a backup center come into the game, it's good to see Brian Allen back.
Option look. Lewerke hit hard. Does not get the yardage. And flying in there was McCray. And Ryan Monet, the tackle. It's 4th and 2.
It's a great job at timing up the blitz by Devin Bush. Watch him. He shoots right into the middle. And now you get McCray coming over to be able to make that play. The young freshman, Kevin Jarvis, trying to get up there. But the instincts And the fact that McCray didn't hesitate, makes the play, brings up 4th down.
And they're going for it. You don't even think about attempting a field goal in these conditions. Fumbled snap. Doesn't matter who's got the football. The 4th down play fails. And the weather playing a huge part in every snap of the game right now.
Never really had it. Maurice Hurst shot through the gap between the center and the left guard. But I don't think Lewerke ever had his hand yet. The ball just slipped right through, and there's Hurst coming in to finish the deal.
Heavy stuff has arrived. You enjoyed drama here? This is like something out of a Hollywood set, Kirk, where you crank up the wind machine. Look at Kevin up there, the top right corner of the stadium. A salute to our crew who's putting up with this.
Yeah, whole crew.
This is
Look at
wild.
this. It just like 5, 10, 15 minutes, just hard rain.
O'Korn on play action flips it, and it's dropped. Once again, wet football with Khalid Hill, who was back in the game, couldn't collect it.
And again, it's not easy to make catches. It's not easy to throw the ball. Korn frustrated because he got hit after he threw that by Demetrius Cooper. He got leveled. Ball was away.
Chris Fry is down on the field. Here's the hit, Kirk. What do you think?
Yeah, as soon as he threw the ball. Oh, and then he followed through on it, landed on his shoulder.
I'll tell you what, that'll get a flag a lot of the times. It did bring in Dave Kataya on that one. That's a potentially big call there. They didn't make, Dave.
I was surprised because of the way he finished him onto the ground. I thought they might call that.
Well, there's 2 points here. It looks late to me. I mean, he got him on the 2nd step, and then he forced him into the ground. I would have certainly supported a flag for roughing the passer.
O'Korn was hot right away.
Yeah, he's got to get his composure, but 2nd and 10. Instead of moving the ball near midfield. We were fortunate that time.
I mean, Hill's out there. The ball is catchable. Just gives you an idea of what these players are dealing with the conditions and how wet that ball is. Referees trying to do the best they can to keep the ball dry.
How mindful as a play caller do you have to be? These guys trying to execute stuff. Evans with a 2nd down carry, but those linebackers just flying downhill, knock him down.
Yep. Bocce leading the way there. All 3 of these linebackers have played incredibly well. They're very busy. Actually moving in Tyreek Thompson, 17, a sophomore out of Detroit's out there playing right now for Chris Fry, who went out. He's back out now, back on the field.
Spartans sub out 4 guys on this 3rd down package. Wolverines need 9. O'Korn from the pocket delivers, and it's intercepted again. It's a 5th takeaway, the 2nd. It's Dowell again, the 2nd interception, and a 5th takeaway of the Spartans defense. They only had 4 all season coming in.
And Michigan State just rushes 3. Drop 8. There's a D lineman. He drops, so you get 3 rushers. And look in the back end of the Michigan State defense. He's going to try to make a throw right here. And Dow, who has his eyes on the ball, an easy interception. Once it sails over the top of Bunning. O'Korn not taking care of the ball, just kind of puts that one up there and hopes on 3rd down.
As a frustrating sequence, he thought he was rough and then chasing down. He gets shoved into the Spartans bench, and that's more rudeness. And then he falls down again as he tries to get up. It is a rivalry game.
That 2nd fall was just trying to draw a penalty.
We're talking about it on the far sideline.
Figured they owed him one after the hit, maybe.
We said he's got to keep his composure.
Yeah.
The ball, as you said, sailed on him.
He just kind of threw it and hoped.
I mean, pick on each of the last 3 possessions. There is a penalty on the Spartans bench over there to back up field position after the pick.
Well, that would be amazing if that's the call.
You think that's theatrics?
Oh, yeah, most certainly.
Take another look at it. Michigan State, the previous 4 takeaways, Kirk, only been able to produce 7 points off those turnovers. Haven't had a 1st down so far after halftime. End around. Stewart has a little crease, and he sprints for about 7.
you know, what Stewart brings to the table is 6'2", 210 pounds out of Houston, is tailback skills. And a jet sweep with him is dangerous. He's not just a speed guy. He gets his hands on the ball and he gets around the edge. He's got vision and explosiveness that makes you think of a tailback, even though he is a wide receiver. And that's where that's surprised they're not trying to get out on the perimeter a little bit more with that run game. He's dangerous out there.
London.
That's
nothing. Let's take another look at the end of that last interception when O'Korn was able to draw the 15-yard penalty. It's not on that.
No. But there was a little push there. But that right there, I don't know.
Did somebody grab him from behind?
What, the trainer? The girl trainer there?
He was yanked backwards unless he tripped. Wow. You're giving that, you're like a soccer play where he takes a dive? Oh, you can't really see for sure what happened there.
That's one of the trainers grabbed him from behind.
3rd and 3. Shovel pass. And nothing doing. Connor Hayward, his first touch of the night, and the true freshman doesn't get yardage.
Rashawn Gary having a heck of a night, just playing inspired football, especially in the second half, all over the field, rushing the quarterback, defending the run, worth every bit of the hype that he received. 6'5", 281.
And that is a heck of a job by Big Hurst and those guys, and Gary up front. Still no first downs, and still Michigan State having trouble converting, cashing in all these takeaways. Hartbarger collects it. Peoples-Jones lets it bounce in front of him, and that's a play that's going to bounce into the end zone. They could not corral it. So Michigan at the touchback will take over. 9:41 to play on a stormy night in the Big House.
Saturday Night Football on ABC is presented by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, building better every day. In part by Ford, going further so you can. And Pacific Life, experience the power of Pacific.
So Michigan back to work down 4, and John O'Korn, who had a couple of nice completions on Michigan's touchdown drive early in the 3rd quarter, has thrown back-to-back picks. And that's 3 possessions.
See how well he can put that behind him and move forward.
Harbaugh's 2+ years seems to have never had 5 turnovers before. Higdon skates free. Nice game. 12 yards. Here's the quarterback comparison, our Pacific Life game summary. Rookie had the touchdown throw and run in the first half. Nothing doing in the second half.
No, not at all. All those numbers, majority of them in that first half. And so that was a really good run that time. They picked up a couple crack blocks by wide receivers and gave the linemen room to pull around. They'll go back to that one.
Log middle for Higdon.
If you're Michigan State and O'Korn has been throwing the ball into coverage, you are loading up against that running game. You are putting your safeties and your linebackers, which are always coming downhill. Now, of course, you have to be disciplined with your eyes for play action, but you want to try to get O'Korn, who's been struggling here, you want to try to get him into an obvious passing situation. And then dial up some unique, exotic pressure. See if he can put it into coverage again.
Higdon will to escape, lowers the shoulder, and gets out across the 35 before Dow, who's had a monster night, knocked him down. 2 picks for number 6.
Yeah, he has played really well. Started again his first start last week as a sophomore against Iowa. Stepped in there for Matt Morrissey, who had started the first 3. And as a young player, I think he's just going to get better and better. Big 3rd down here.
They're 4 of 14 so far. Need 5. O'Korn flips it, but it's incomplete. It was hurried. It was behind Perry. And here comes the punt team.
Yeah, Michigan State was there anyway. David Dow, who we just talked about, was in position to make that play, even if Perry makes the catch. And you have Jim Harbaugh. You get him to third down, and he's got a quarterback in these conditions. It's made some mistakes. Makes it tough on what to dial up there on third down.
You go, Corns, thinking, what is with the weather? He starts a ball game last year against Indiana when Spate was hurt. It was a blizzard, frigid. It was the lowest passing output they'd had in 15 years for Michigan. Now his second start for the Wolverines, and you get this. Darryl Stewart now is back. That's a high snap collected by Robbins, who gets it away. And Stewart just lets it roll dead down at the 23. 7:49 remaining. Spartans back on offense, up 4.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State. Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game. Unbelievable.
And there is Watts Jackson, who's been out there on special teams tonight. Midway in the fourth quarter. Stewart on the end around, knocked out. Teams are moving in the same direction as they were in the fourth quarter here 2 years ago. Wolverines fans, just to see number 20 in white and green, it's like a horror show.
It just doesn't it have to feel with the weather and the score at 14-10 are we setting ourselves up for another crazy moment here at the end of the game that could decide the outcome? Michigan State still trying to get a first down, their first one in the second half. Got to feel like they have a wrinkle or two up their sleeve with Dave Warner, the offensive coordinator.
Lewerke keeps it, and he'll be slammed down for a loss. Chase Winovich, one of the sack leaders in the FBS, coming in. It's a tackle for loss there.
Winovich at 253. Again, he's known as a guy who can rush the quarterback. But what I love now is he is a complete player. Look at that power, just pushing that tight end on skates out of the way. He defends the run on early downs. He's become a complete package as a DN.
He refuses to come out. He played every snap against Purdue. It was 100 degrees in that game.
Love guys like that.
3rd and 6. Lewerke desperately trying to escape, and he'll be knocked down short of the marker. Devin Bush was there, 1 for 12 on 3rd down.
I'm amazed that Michigan State continues to leave Rashawn Gary one-on-one. He's on the left side, down at the bottom. Watch how he has such quick get-off. One-on-one here with Chewins. Forces him out of the pocket. Both these defensive ends are in a race to get to that quarterback.
Quickness and power, huh?
Combination, yep.
Wow.
Lean, too. 285 pounds.
Okay, here comes a punt. Mark Carter with Peoples Jones standing at his 25. You got to pay attention to every punt. Conditions like this. High snap, ugly kick, bouncing out of bounds at the 36. 5:51 to play. Can the Wolverines dodge the upset trap from Sparty? Curtis Wilson, the All-State all-hands-in bus, helping us find great teamwork and great work in the community all season long. Is this an easy call for you this week?
Well, each week, as you know, we pick our All-State all-hands-in pick of the week. And, yeah, I think, how do you not pick Iowa State? Going into Norman, number 3 team in the country, heavy favorite, beat them. By the way, Oklahoma had a 24-7 lead in this game. And Iowa State came all the way back, 30-point underdog. That's one of the great stories of the year so far.
So the Wolverines hand it off to Evans, and now Kirk, inside of 6 minutes to go, as Bocce makes yet another tackle. You feel like they've got just a couple possessions left. The defense has done a good job keeping him in this game, only down 4.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Jim Harbaugh probably senses that as well, along with his offensive staff, on how they want to try to be able to pick up a first down and create a little bit of urgency. And
McCorn flips it across the middle, and there's a catch made in heavy traffic by McCune. He'll be 4 yards short. 3rd down coming up.
Well, he's been a good target these last couple games. Purdue, and then again tonight, is only going to get better as a sophomore. It is a 3rd down. Michigan State rotating some fresh bodies in.
Conditions are getting better for the offense now. The wind has died down. The rain not falling nearly as heavily. It is a weighty play in this game. Perry comes in motion.
That's their third down guy.
Handoff. And swarmed in the backfield. Evans dropped for a loss, and the Wolverines will have to punt.
Wow, really surprised by this call by the Michigan offense. Watch Michigan State not caught off guard. I think they were trying to catch them getting upfield to rush the passer and slide right through that. But the discipline and awareness of that Michigan State defense, they're not fooled at all. And the clock continues to tick down.
Robbins boots it away. Stewart just lets it bounce. Those scrappy guys, we talked about them all night. Eric Willikis, Panashuk, just workmanlike, blue-collar Michigan State type defensive lineman, and huge on that stop. Immediately after the game, Sports Center on the ESPN app or ESPN News will hear Harbaugh's reaction to this. More impact of the Oklahoma loss. Barkley a couple of touchdowns after a very slow start. Lions defense carrying them to another win over Northwestern.
3:58 in this game. Michigan State up by 4. Michigan all 3 timeouts. Keep in mind, Michigan State does not have a first down in the entire second half. Michigan thinking one more time, 3 and out, get that football back and get good field position. They'll have one last chance to try to get points.
You keep thinking that Dave Warner might have a wrinkle, a gadget play up his sleeve. They pull it out now. And it's a first down handoff, and Holmes just plows forward. They shove the pile for about 4.
We kind of bragged on them and how they showed up in the big house as an underdog, taking some swings and playing to win, not just playing to hold on, but once they built their lead and once the weather came in, it's been a very different approach from Michigan State. It's almost a 4-corner offense where they're just working the clock and trying to hold on for dear life.
Have not had a first down since London's 50-yard run at the 3:40 mark of the second quarter. Flag down. The Wolverines jumped across the line before the snap, and that's going to move it 5 yards closer. It'll make it second and short.
What a quick get off by Maurice Hurst. They're probably going to get Devin Bush 10, but Hurst.
Offside, defense, number 3. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Bush and Gary, 3 they end up getting, but how explosive. Maurice Hurst had a chance to make a play in the backfield there. Costly mistake for the Wolverines.
Exactly. 5-yard penalty that feels enormous with the yards coming as hard.
At the top, they called Gary Bush. I may have gotten back, but look at Maurice Hurst with that quickness. That's a 2-yard loss. Instead, now it's 2nd and 1.
It's a freshman guard, Jarvis, trying to work against the big man. And the work he keeps it, and they move to sticks. So inside of 3 minutes now.
Yeah, not only do they obviously pick up their first down, but now it really becomes a challenge for Harbaugh and how he works his timeouts. He's going to have to start using them here in these next 3 plays. Michigan State, you would have to think, going to run the football and force Harbaugh into using those 3 timeouts. Not in any hurry at all. Should work that all the way down to 2 seconds, 1 second if you're the Lewerke.
Snaps it at 3. And that's Holmes. That's a terrific first down game. That becomes a crucial play. 2nd and short now.
Yeah, Michigan has to use their timeout. At this point, it just becomes, if Michigan State gets a first down, the game is over. That's where we are at this point. Michigan's going to have to use their timeouts. And if they pick up a first down, they just won't have any way to stop the clock.
Another one of those games, 110th meeting, this battle for the Paul Bunyan Trophy. It's been a funky game. Obviously, the weather playing a part, but the Spartans coming out throwing haymakers and landing early, a very aggressive start. And then despite 5 takeaways, they really can't cash in. As you said, it's the 4 corners offense now trying to squeeze out the upset.
They really are. I mean, anytime you go into a game and you're up, you get into the second half, you pick up 1 first down with 3 minutes to go in the game. It tells you kind of how your approach has been. And I've never seen 5 turnovers in a game, and still it's 14-10.
Teams, if you go back 10 years, Kirk, teams in the Power 5 that are +5 in turnovers, which the Spartans are, haven't lost. 95-0. But most of those games are not 4-point games in the final minutes.
Securing the football, another big thing for Michigan State here late in the game.
They don't have a turnover tonight. Holmes, not much. So after a nice first down gain, Hurst got in there.
Oh, yeah.
Another timeout spent. It'll be 3rd and 4.
And they use that, gives him 1 timeout. Like I said, if you pick up a first down, the game is over. Michigan has their back against the wall. They have to make a stop here on this 3rd down.
Cassidy Hubbard standing by. The Ford wrap-up show after the game. And you see Don Brown circling his defense, wondering what Dave Warner might call. Do you trust Lewerke to throw it? He's a terrific runner. Get him on the edge if you can.
What Don Brown's saying right now is we're shooting gaps. And this is our calling card. This is who we are. We're shooting gaps. Maurice Hurst, you're going to shoot a gap. You're going to make a play here. We're going to get him in the backfield. We're going to use our last timeout. We're going to get the ball back to O'Korn. We're going to go down here and win the game. That's what you have to be selling right now. The big thing is Michigan State, you got to run the ball here. Even if you don't pick up the first down, make Michigan use that last timeout. Quarterback run here.
A whole bunch of tight ends shifting around to the right. Lewerke fumbles the snap. Chased. And knocked down right near the marker. They're going to spot it first down. After a disastrous beginning to the play.
Chris, he landed on top of his own player, the center, Brian Allen, and that's why you see spot. He was short by about a yard, but he lands on Allen. Watch 65 get out in front of him. Great job of improvising instead of giving up on the play. See Allen right there? Lands on him. He's not down, and now he's down.
It's a great spot, Kirk, but look at here's another look at the spot. They'll review this, of course. Landing on Allen right there, not hitting the ground. Nope.
Still not down.
Across the marker.
Still not down.
You tell me that another quarterback keeper involving Michigan is going to come into play here, just like the Ohio State game.
By the way, Forbush there chasing him. He actually ends up going from Allen to Forbush. Then he comes down. Forbush hit him from behind, almost jars that ball loose. Look at that effort, the strength in his hands to hold on to that football.
How about the beginning of the play? Lewerke in the shotgun, fumbles the snap, and it bounced right up to him. Watch this bounce right there.
That's a short stop. That's a pretty good play there. But I'm thinking he's just going to take a knee. He's just going to slide. He don't want to turn the ball over. He goes from Allen to Forbush to the turf. A great effort. Great effort by Brian Allen, by the way, getting downfield to try to make a block.
That's the kind of an assist that you don't expect to make it. A center quarterback lands on you, bounces across the marker. If it stands, just their second third down conversion of the game.
3-9 last year, Michigan State.
And a very embarrassing offseason for the program with 3 players dismissed.
It's been a tough year for Michigan State.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands as called. First down.
Without the assist from big Mr. Allen, Lewerke doesn't get it, but now just a minute 58. Michigan with 1 timeout.
It's a tough way for Michigan's defense. They had him stopped by about a yard, but
undoubtedly spend their final timeout after this first down play if they get the stop on the run. And it is Holmes slammed down for a 2-yard loss. Final timeout, minute 33. After the Cal-Washington State game on ESPN, stay tuned for SportsCenter at night. Stan Verrett and Linda Cohn. Highlights of the day in college football, Major League Baseball playoffs, of course. SportsCenter at night also streaming on the ESPN app. So after this next play, Michigan cannot stop the clock. They might have a role reversal. reversal where it's Michigan State that has to wind it down and perhaps just get a punt off to secure the win?
No, I don't think they're going to need to do that. Michigan just used their last timeout. It's only second down. They'll be able to work this clock down without having to punt the football.
So Brown, the instructions say, got to rip the ball out.
It's the only chance they have. To be honest, if Michigan State hands the ball off, I'd be shocked. And with the way Maurice Hurst is getting through and shooting gaps, why take the risk? If you're Lewerke, you just take a knee, start that clock.
You think about whatever's going to get you a clean snap. He just dropped that one.
Now Michigan State's going to call a timeout.
Rivalry game. You throw out what you see on tape coming in. You throw out the records and the rankings, all that stuff. And so many times it's been Michigan State as the underdog team. D'Antonio trying to move to 8-3 head-to-head against Michigan. Trying to win for a fourth time in 5 visits to the Big House. And yet another upset of a top 10 Michigan team.
Can't say enough about this effort tonight. If Michigan State's able to hold on here and win this game, they really have become the forgotten team in the Big Ten East. With Jim Harbaugh coming into Michigan, Penn State and James Franklin, Urban Meyer and Ohio State. Last year, the off-the-field issues, they're 3-9. People just have completely dismissed them after that 3-9 year. What a way to remind America that Michigan State still plays football in the Big Ten East.
You said you have to climb back up the ladder, and Antonio challenged his team. This is a very, very young football team. A lot of fresh faces, and they have battled very, very hard. Just final pieces of business. Handle the snap. Lewerke just rolls out. And he'll be knocked down. A flag comes in. That'll stop the clock.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why take a hit? I know he's a tough. Mark D'Antonio's not happy about that either.
Offense number 94. 10 yards from the start of the
That's
foul.
how you can't run out the clock. A play like that.
I just don't think you need to overthink it. If you're going to roll him out, just slide.
And Harbaugh wanted to decline the penalty. He's saying decline it.
Yeah, he just
doesn't care about the yardage. He wants the down. Yeah.
Correction. The penalty will be declined. Third down. The clock will start on the snap.
That's why it's important, though, because it's like giving Michigan a timeout, that penalty. You decline it, but I mean, it's still a minute 26 to go now, and 3rd and 8. You don't get it, you're going to have to deal with a punt.
Right. That penalty is what really hurts.
Huge. I mean,
with the clock.
And that is the only thing that you didn't want to have.
Yeah. Now they are going to have to punt the ball.
Lewerke rolls again, takes another hit, and is knocked down. 4th down, clock will run. And they'll have to snap it in about 40 seconds.
Oh my gosh. It's identical. It's just we're going the other way. Well, instead of going left to right, we're going right to left.
It was Harbaugh calling a timeout to get things set up a couple of years ago. Michigan's got a couple if they want to take one to talk about it.
This is crazy.
Michigan blocked 4 punts last year, most in the FBS. They came close to Hartbarger earlier tonight. Thankfully for the punter, the rain has let up quite a bit. The wind is not nearly howling the same way it was before. So there it is, 41 seconds. They do spend a timeout. They've just got one left. The 11th punt of the night for Hartbarger.
Penalty, even though it didn't affect them with yards, it affects them with the clock.
Absolutely. That's the one thing you couldn't do there, was stop the clock with a penalty.
Yeah.
So, you even mentioned the fact that you got to catch the snap and get the punt away. That's the essential part.
Should we play it one more time, the Sean McDonough call?
Michigan fans saying, please don't. O'Korn huddling with Harbaugh. Rockledge, the sophomore, is the long snapper. He's got the important job right now. Hartbarger to get it away, and Peoples-Jones standing at the 11. The snap is handled. The punt is away, and he just booms it. So he bounced out of the end zone. 34 seconds to play, and Michigan will take over 75 yards from the end zone.
At least they get a chance. They get an opportunity for John O'Korn. Anything can happen. 34 seconds, no timeouts. Thinking about first downs to stop that clock. Thinking about getting the ball out of bounds to stop the clock. O'Korn, who's not had a great night, 14 of 30 for 165 yards, the 3 interceptions. But he has a chance here. It's a rivalry game. You just never know what could happen.
He's got guys with deep speed like Peoples-Jones, Eddie McDoom. Perry can run. Kakoa Crawford, decent speed.
Michigan State's defensive backs, the secondary, especially the safeties, thinking about keeping everything in front of him.
Spartans rush 3. O'Korn steps up, delivers underneath. This is Higgins, who's got to get out of bounds. And he is knocked out across the 35. 27 seconds to play.
Late hit, 15 more yards. Added on top of that.
It was Chris Fry, and D'Antonio says,
that's a great call. Now, that's a great call. The one earlier where we were kind of talking about that.
After the play was over.
This is
personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 23.
What is Chris Fry thinking? A veteran right here just throws him to the ground. He's 10 yards out of bounds.
If he just lets him go, it's no fun.
Yeah.
This last act right here.
Let him go. There's not a penalty. Right there, he pulls him down. He throws him to the ground.
The ball is at midfield. 27 seconds to go. Spartans showing some pressure, and they bring it. O'Korn flings it downfield. Got a man, dropped it. Oh my goodness, Eddie McDoom was inside the 30. 19 seconds left.
Oh, John O'Korn, boy, he gave everything he had here. Buys enough time, keeps his eyes downfield, and it just looked like Eddie McDoom started to look where the defense was instead of just making the catch. His eyes started to creep to his left to see where Dow was coming in to hit him, probably thinking about trying to either make a play or get out of bounds instead of just making that catch.
Michigan State back to rushing 3. O'Korn over the middle, low ball, caught. First down, the clock will stop. Now this late signal incomplete. The official came in from a long way away and said that Peoples-Jones did not make the catch. 13 seconds left.
Yeah, the ball was bouncing around. It looked like at the beginning when he first tried to get his hands underneath, it looked like he may have had a chance, but the ball started to bounce around afterwards. You'll see it just bounce out of there and towards the end.
Yeah.
Watch it come loose. In fact, Michigan State player is trying to grab it. Incomplete. Waved that off. Bocce's trying to get in there and knock that ball out.
Time for just a couple plays. Play clock is winding down.
Did he
get it off?
No.
Back it up 5 more.
It's for that lack of experience with O'Korn. Play got in there a little bit late. He's got to get the ball snapped.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down. This is not a 10-second runoff because the clock was dead at the time.
This just has to come down to the final plays, doesn't it? I mean, the 2 major penalties by Michigan State put him in this predicament.
Yeah.
Then McDoom has a chance to set him up in the red zone, drops the ball.
Michigan State blitzed 2 plays ago. Now they're rushing just 3 and dropping 8. And Mark D'Antonio wants to talk it over.
So Harlan Barnett, Mike Trussell, both defensive coordinators, and D'Antonio will organize this defense. O'Korn backed up after that delay of game. Not going to be able to heave the ball to the end zone, I don't think, into this kind of wind, this direction.
No, I think Jim Harbaugh, what he probably would like to see is some kind of crossing route. You get a first down, maybe pick up 15, 20 yards, fire it into the ground, stop the clock, and then take a shot. You're not going to do yourself any good with where the ball is to try to throw one. Remember Cordell Stewart, this is about where he was when he threw it, 75 yards, but I don't think John O'Korn has that arm to be able to make that throw.
It's a pleasant memory you brought up with the miracle of Michigan for the Buffalo.
It's right, this about almost exactly a little further back, actually.
After the timeout, Spartans dropping a whole bunch of defenders off the line of scrimmage. It's a 3-man rush look.
It's that crossing route.
O'Korn flips it very short. Higdon just got to get out of bounds. Does get a first down. 5 seconds. Now they just got to take a shot at the end zone.
Yeah, that's what you wanted. In this case, it ends up being out of the backfield. It's the same principle. You needed about 15, maybe 20 yards. Now you've got a legitimate shot. This isn't a heave-ho from midfield. Now you're at the 37-yard line. You got a shot here. Oh my gosh, 2 years ago and now this.
And Michigan turned the tables with a miraculous finish of their own, where the Spartans earn another upset in the great history of this rivalry.
Peoples-Jones has height at the top.
O'Korn rolling, launching for the end zone. In traffic. Incomplete. Game over. Michigan State wins it in the big house. Some of the Spartans sprinting around, hugging, others demanding the Paul Bunyan Trophy be produced on the Michigan sidelines.
Chris, guess who got up there and made a play on the ball? Joe Bocci.
That middle linebacker dropping way back in coverage.
That is an enormous win for Michigan State.
Maria Taylor will get the reaction from Mark D'Antonio as the Spartans await that 4-foot-tall Paul Bunyan statue. There it is. The trophy headed back to East Lansing. Maria?
Well, Chris, Coach just looked at me and said, wow, that was pretty awesome. How would you describe the way that your team was able to walk out of here?
We played hard and came to play. Michigan got a great defense, but the 5 turnovers tough to overcome. We got the 5 turnovers. We can't say enough about our defense, and we did it the hard way, man. Right down to the last second.
You said that your team was going to have to be road warriors, and you were going to see how they handled adversity. I mean, what did you learn about your squad tonight?
Yeah, we're a happy group. I'll tell you. Let me tell you something about the ride home. You will never have a bus ride like this one home. Never, ever. Sherm Lewis told me that a long time ago in 2008.
Okay, what's different about this bus ride home?
Hey, I'm just thrilled for our football team and thrilled for our fans. This is a great environment. It's a great football game, and I'm just excited.
All right, Coach, you get to take home the Paul Bunyan Trophy.
Go Green.
Said he turned this rivalry around after the little brother comments in 2008. He talked about the bus ride home after that victory, and now D'Antonio improves to 8-3 against Michigan.
And from that night, the comments from Mike Hart, 8-2. Incredible to think how this rivalry has flipped. And after a 3-9 year, to have this kind of win early in the year.
Paul Bunyan is wearing a Spartan helmet for that bus ride back to East Lansing, as the underdogs come to the big house on a wet and wild night and take back this trophy with an upset. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Game produced by Bill Bunnell, directed by Derek Mobley here in his hometown. The Spartans head back to East Lansing as we remind you that SportsCenter is coming up on ESPN News and the ESPN app. Highlights, reaction from Jim Harbaugh after this game. But this night belongs to the green and white. 14-10, Michigan State, the 110th battle. In-state, a Paul Bunyan Trophy headed their direction. For a wrap-up show coming up right now on ABC.